When Gu Changfeng handed me the divorce papers, I almost burst out laughing. In my past life, I begged him through tears not to divorce me, only to be destroyed by his white moonlight and lose everything. This time around, I'll make sure they learn what it means to go for wool and come home shorn. Fine, I'll sign. I picked up the pen and signed my name on the divorce papers with deliberate neatness. Gu Changfeng froze, nearly dropping the teacup in his hand. Lin Wanqiu, have you lost your mind? Gu Changfeng stared at the freshly signed divorce agreement, his eyes filled with disbelief. I set down the pen, smoothed my clothes, and spoke with a calmness that even I found chilling. I'm not crazy, I'm perfectly lucid, it's just a temporary divorce. Once the buzz around Su Qinghe's return dies down, we'll remarry, he explained hastily, as if afraid I'd change my mind. Su Qinghe, hearing that name, I let out a cold laugh inside. In my past life, it was because of this woman that I not only lost my life but also dragged my father down with me. 1. She returned from abroad with a gilded reputation, and the entire Gu family treated her like a precious jewel, claiming only someone of equal social standing was worthy of their son. Meanwhile, as the factory director's daughter, I was seen as nothing more than a country bumpkin unfit for polite society. Mother said this is a critical period for my promotion, we can't afford any slip-ups. Su Qinghe's father served with mine, and now she's come back seeking the Gu family's support. People will inevitably talk, Gu Changfeng explained, his tone dripping with appeasement. I stared coldly at him. So you've decided to make your lawful wife temporarily disappear to clear the stage for her. Wanqiu, don't talk like that, he said with a frown. It's just a temporary arrangement, 6 months at most. Once she's settled and found a job, we'll remarry immediately. A temporary arrangement. How foolish I was in my past life to have actually believed his lies. Those supposed 6 months stretched into a year, and that year became forever. Su Qinghe not only moved into the Gu family home, but she also got pregnant during my and Gu Changfeng's fake divorce, securing her position directly. And what about me? Not only was I thrown out, but someone also poisoned me in secret. I died with a 3-month-old child in my womb. Wanqiu, seeing that I wasn't speaking, Gu Changfeng grew a bit nervous. What are you thinking about? I snapped back to reality and smiled. Just thinking about where to stay these next few days. Since we're putting on a show, we might as well go all the way, right? A flicker of barely noticeable disappointment passed through Gu Changfeng's eyes. Then he nodded. I've already found a small courtyard for you in the West District. You can move in tomorrow. Xiqing District. I sneered inwardly. That place was extremely remote. Separated from the Gu family's Dongqing District by nearly the entire city, a perfect spot to make me disappear. I'll pack my things, I said, standing up and dusting off my hands. Is there anything else you need to tell me? Gu Changfeng opened his mouth as if to say something, but in the end, he just shook his head. No, that's all. I turned and walked toward the room, my steps so light it was as if I were heading to a celebration. From behind me came Gu Changfeng's voice. Wanqiu. I'm sorry, I stopped but didn't turn around. Gu Changfeng, some things only need to be said once. Repeating them makes them cheap. The moment I pushed the door open, I heard him let out a long, heavy sigh. In my past life, hearing that sigh would have broken my heart, filled me with regret, and made me want to turn back and hold him while I cried. Now, it just makes me sick. What right does a man who lacks the courage to protect his own wife have to sigh? I started packing my bags. My movement's brisk and decisive. There's really not much to pack anyway. All I'm taking are a few changes of clothes and some documents. I'm leaving everything else behind. The jewelry from our wedding, all the gifts Gu Changfeng ever gave me, none of it is coming with me. Just as I was folding the clothes, the door swung open. Gu's mother, Song Huiyun, entered carrying a teacup, her face wearing that trademark haughty expression of hers. How's the packing coming along? She asked indifferently. Settling into a chair, almost done, I kept folding clothes without looking up. Lin Wanqiu, she set down her teacup. You're acting very unusual today. My hands paused briefly. How so? With your temperament, you should be crying and making a scene, but today you didn't just stay calm, you signed the papers without a fuss. Song Huiyun narrowed her eyes as she studied me. Are you up to something? As expected of a general's wife. Your eyes are sharp as a hawk's, but she guessed wrong. I wasn't scheming. I was setting a trap. Madame Gu is overthinking things, I said, closing the suitcase and turning to face her. I've simply come to understand a few matters. What matters? You know what they say, a wise man knows when to yield. I gave a faint smile. The Gu family needs a daughter-in-law from a suitable background. As the daughter of a factory director, I'm clearly not good enough for a general's son. Since that's the case, why should I cling on shamelessly? Song Huiyan's face broke into a satisfied smile. I'm glad you see it that way. Don't worry, as long as you cooperate, the Gu family will treat you fairly. Then I thank you, Madam Gu. She stood up to leave, pausing at the door to glance back at me. Su Qinghe arrives tomorrow. I hope you'll play your part well in this little performance. Of course, I nodded. We all know how to put on an act. After she left, I sat on the edge of the bed, lost in memories of my past life. Su Qinghe is returning tomorrow. The Gu family will throw her a lavish welcome banquet, while I, the ex-daughter-in-law, will be completely erased from their history. In my past life, I hid away in that tiny courtyard in the West District, crying my eyes out every day, desperately hoping Gu Changfeng would visit and this nightmare would finally end. But in this lifetime, I'll make sure everyone understands how the tables can turn. Su Qinghe, isn't it the position of Mrs. Gu that you've been coveting? I'll step aside and let you have it. But how long you'll keep that seat depends entirely on your capabilities. Early the next morning, I moved my belongings to the small courtyard in the West District. It was called a small courtyard, but really it was just a dilapidated quadrangle. The place wasn't small by any means, but years of neglect had left it with an air of decay permeating every corner. But that suited me just fine. It perfectly matched my current persona as the pitiful abandoned woman. I had just finished tidying up the room when I heard a knock at the door. Opening the door, I saw a middle-aged woman I didn't recognize, holding a basket of eggs. You must be Comrade Lin, she said with a warm smile. I'm Aunt Wang from next door. I heard you just moved in and wanted to see if you need any help. Hello, Aunt Wang, I'm Lin Wanqiu. I accepted the eggs and politely invited her inside. Aunt Wang glanced around the room and asked in a hushed tone, Comrade Lin, do you live here alone? I nodded. For now, yes. And what about your husband? She pressed with curiosity. In my past life, I would have hemmed and hawed over such a question, unsure how to respond, but now I've got my answer ready. We're divorced, I said flatly. He fell for someone else, and I wasn't about to cling to a dead-end marriage. Sister Wang's face softened with sympathy. Oh, these men nowadays have no conscience. How could he let go of a wonderful woman like you? Maybe I'm just not good enough for him, I said with a bitter smile. Now that he's climbed the social ladder, he naturally looks down on his old wife. What social ladder? Sister Wang's curiosity was instantly piqued. I pretended to let the secret slip accidentally. It's that returnee from abroad. I heard her family has powerful connections. A returnee. Sister Wang's eyes lit up. That's quite the catch indeed. But Comrade Lin, don't take it too hard. What's meant to be yours will stay. Forcing what isn't never works. I kept nodding, putting on a submissive and compliant front. After Sister Wang left, I sat in the courtyard, gazing at the blue sky and white clouds above, yet my heart felt unusually calm. In my past life, I lived in this courtyard for over half a year, waiting every day for Gu Changfeng to visit me, to take me back home, but he never came, not even once. Su Qinghe once visited me on a rainy night, claiming she came to comfort me, but in reality, she was just flaunting the fact that she was pregnant with Gu Changfeng's child. That night, I cried until I nearly passed out, and her, standing in the rain, wearing a white trench coat, she looked down on my misery like a queen. Sister Wanqiu, I know you hate me, she said at the time, but love is a battlefield. You win some, you lose some, you lost, so you have to accept it. I was truly defeated back then, utterly and completely, but in this life, I'm going to show her what it means to turn the tables. Just as I was lost in thought, the courtyard gate was knocked on again. I thought it was Aunt Wang coming back, but when I opened the door, it turned out to be my dad. Dad, what brings you here? I asked, a little surprised. Lin Jiangwo looked at me, his eyes full of concern. Sweetheart, I heard you and Changfeng got divorced. I nodded and ushered him inside. It's just temporary. He said we'll remarry after some time has passed. Temporary, my foot. Lin Jiangwo slammed the table in anger. A divorce is a divorce. There's no such thing as temporary. I poured him a cup of tea and said, Dad, please don't be upset. I've come to terms with it. If he truly wanted to spend his life with me, he wouldn't have asked for a divorce. Since he doesn't value our marriage, why should I cling to it? Lin Jiangwo was taken aback, not expecting me to say that. Sweetie, have you really made peace with it? Yes, I have. I sat down across from him. Dad, you didn't work so hard to raise me just for me to put up with disrespect. If Gu Changfeng doesn't want me, there will be someone better who will. A flicker of relief mixed with concern crossed Lin Jiangwo's eyes. But I'm worried about you living here all by yourself. It's fine, the neighbors are all very nice, and I need some time alone to clear my head, I said, holding his hand. Dad, don't worry, I'll take good care of myself. Seeing the determination in my eyes, Lin Jiangwo finally nodded. Alright, since you've made up your mind, I support you, but you must tell me if anything comes up. Understand? I understand. After seeing Dad off, I stood at the gate watching his receding figure. Feeling a surge of warmth in my heart, in my past life, I was so fixated on Gu Changfeng that I overlooked my father's care for me. He went to great lengths for my sake, which eventually led him to cross paths with someone powerful, resulting in his death by retaliation. In this life, I will never let such a thing happen again. As night fell and I was about to rest, I suddenly heard the sound of a car outside the gate. I looked out the window and saw a black car parked at the gate. A familiar figure stepped out of the vehicle, Gu Changfeng. He actually came. I was taken aback. In my previous life, he had never visited me on the very first day after our divorce. It seems my unusual behavior in this life has already started to change certain things. He stood outside the door for a long time, seemingly hesitating whether to knock. I didn't go out to meet him, just stood quietly by the window watching. His silhouette looked rather lonely in the moonlight. Finally, he raised his hand and knocked on the door. Wancho, I know you're home, open the door. I didn't answer the door right away. Instead, I waited a moment, pretending I had just heard the knock. It's me, Changfeng. I opened the courtyard gate and saw him holding a food container in his hand. What brings you here so late? I asked politely, as if speaking to an ordinary friend. Gu Changfeng seemed slightly unsettled by my formal tone. I was worried you'd have no one looking after you here alone. So I brought you some food, too. Thank you. But you really shouldn't have gone to the trouble. I accepted the container. It's getting late. You should head back now so Madame Gu won't worry. Late autumn. He called out to me. You're acting strange today. Strange how? I turned to look at him. I feel perfectly normal. You never used to talk to me like this. He frowned. Are you angry with me? I smiled faintly. Commander Gu, we're divorced now. How exactly am I supposed to speak to you? My words left him speechless. Alright, it's getting late. You should head back, I said, starting to close the door. Thanks for the food, Wancho. Wait, he called out urgently. I need to talk to you. What is it? He hesitated for a moment. Su Qinghe will arrive tomorrow, and there might be many guests visiting the Gu family. If anyone asks about you, I'll tell them you've gone back to your parents' home for a while. Oh, I see. I nodded, appearing quite calm. Don't you have anything else to say? He asked, growing a bit impatient. Not really, I replied with an innocent look. You've made a good arrangement. I have no objections. Gu Changfeng looked at me, a flicker of complex emotions in his eyes. I'll be off then. He turned and walked toward the car, then glanced back after a few steps. Remember to reach out if you need anything. Alright, I waved. Drive safe. I didn't close the courtyard gate until the car vanished into the night. Back in the room, I opened the food container to find an assortment of delicate pastries, still warm. In my past life, I would have been moved to tears by this small gesture of his, believing I still held a place in his heart. Now, I find it utterly ironic. On one hand, he asks me to divorce to make way for another woman. On the other, he sends pastries to flaunt his benevolence. Do you really think I'm still that naive little woman who's easily fooled? I dumped the pastries in the trash and went to wash up for bed. Su Qinghe is coming back tomorrow. The real drama is about to begin. The next morning, I made a special effort with my appearance, changing into a plain gray coat and combing my hair neatly to look like a proper, dutiful housewife. Then I went to the largest department store in Dongqing district. Su Qinghe is returning today, and the Gu family is bound to pull out all the stops to welcome her. Since this department store is a favorite haunt for military dependents, there are sure to be plenty of people coming here to buy gifts for the returning overseas lady. Sure enough, not long after I entered the store, I overheard people discussing Su Qinghe. I heard the Gu family's daughter-in-law is coming back today. She's a top student who studied abroad. The Gu family is truly blessed to have such a wonderful daughter-in-law. Isn't that right? They're perfectly matched in social status. He's talented and she's beautiful. A match made in heaven. I listened quietly from the side, a sarcastic smile playing on my lips. A match made in heaven. In her past life, she stirred up endless drama in the Gu household for years, and her conflicts with Gu Changfeng eventually reached a boiling point. If I hadn't died young, I might have lived to see her comeuppance. Hey, whatever happened to the Gu family's former daughter-in-law? Someone suddenly asked. Which one? You know, the factory director's daughter, Lin Wanqiu. I think her name was. No idea, haven't seen her around in ages. I heard she moved back to her parents' place, probably making way for the new daughter-in-law in the Gu family. She knows when to step aside. Exactly, Miss Sue is a returnee from abroad. How could the daughter of some factory manager ever compare? But honestly, Lin Wanqiu is a decent girl, just not from the right background. I almost burst out laughing at that point. Not good enough family background. I wonder if they'd still say that after discovering Su Qinghe's true nature. Pretending to have overheard their conversation by chance, I moved closer and said, "Ladies, are you discussing the Gu family affairs? Oh my, isn't that Lin Wanqiu?" One of the military wives I knew, Zhang Shouyun, looked at me in surprise. "What are you doing here?" "Just out shopping for a few things." I gave a faint smile. "I overheard you talking about the Gu family getting a new daughter-in-law. Congratulations." The group exchanged uneasy glances, clearly taken aback by how calmly I'd addressed the matter. "Wanqiu, you," Zhang Shouyun trailed off, leaving her sentence unfinished. "What's wrong?" I feigned ignorance. "Chongfeng and I are already divorced. Who he marries is his own business. Of course I should congratulate him." "Divorced?" They were all stunned. "When did that happen?" "Lost. We just finalized the paperwork yesterday," I said casually. "He's marrying some overseas returned lady. A factory director's daughter like me isn't good enough for him, so we split." At that, their expressions turned absolutely priceless. This is too sudden, isn't it?" Zhang Shouyun stammered. "Sudden," I let out a bitter laugh. "Actually, there were signs all along. I just didn't notice them before. Looking back now, they probably had contact much earlier. Even though I made that up, it sounded plausible. After all, Su Qinghe's father was an old comrade in arms of Gu's father, so it made perfect sense for her to seek refuge with the Gu family after returning to the country. "So where are you staying now?" someone asked with concern. "I rented a small courtyard in Xiqing district," I said with my head lowered. "It's actually quite nice, peaceful and quiet." The way people looked at me changed. Their earlier envy turned into pity. "Wanqiu, don't be too upset," Zhang Shouyun comforted me. "What's meant to be yours will stay. What isn't can't be forced." "I know," I nodded. "And honestly, I feel a sense of relief. These past few years with the Gu family have been exhausting. I always felt like nothing was going right. Now, at last, I can be myself again." That was spoken with such sincerity. It moved everyone who heard it. "Wanqiu, you're truly a wonderful girl." Zhang Shouyun took my hand. "I'm sure you'll meet someone even better in the future." "Thank you for your kind words," I smiled. "I won't keep you from your shopping then. I should get back to tidying up the house." "Alright, take care on your way home." Leaving the department store, I was in high spirits. The words I just said will soon spread throughout the military compound. Soon enough, everyone will know that Gu Chongfeng abandoned his first wife to marry an overseas returnee, and me, I'd become the kind-hearted woman who was abandoned yet still wishes her ex-husband well. This way, even if trouble arises in the future, people will sympathize with me rather than side with the Gu family. Back in the small courtyard, I spotted a familiar bicycle parked by the entrance. It belonged to my best friend, Mei. "Wanqiu," Mei rushed over and hugged me the moment she saw me. "Why did you move without telling anyone?" "I went to the Gu residence looking for you. Madame Gu said you'd return to your parents. Then I went to your father's place, and he told me you were here." "Sorry for worrying you," I said, patting her back. "Let's talk inside." Mei is my childhood friend, blunt, outspoken, and straight from the heart, even in my past life. She stood up for me and almost got into a fight with the Gu family over my troubles. "Wanqiu, what's really going on?" Mei pulled me to sit down as soon as we entered the room. "I heard Gu Chongfeng is marrying someone else." I gave her a brief rundown of what happened, of course leaving out the part about my rebirth. "What? He actually asked you to fake a divorce?" Mei jumped up in anger. "That bastard, who does he think he is? Does he think he can just divorce and remarry on a whim?" "Maisie, keep your voice down," I said, pulling her aside. "We don't want the neighbors to hear." "I want everyone to hear," Maisie fumed. "That scoundrel Gu Chongfeng, after all you've done for him, how could he treat you like this?" A warmth spread through my heart. Maisie was still the same Maisie, always on my side. "Maisie, I've come to terms with it," I said, holding her hand. "If he truly loved me, he wouldn't have made such a demand. Since he chose someone else, why should I force it?" "But you've been married for 3 years." Maisie's eyes welled up with tears. "How could he treat you like this? What does 3 years matter?" I smiled bitterly. All this time, I'd been trying my best to be a good wife, but in his heart, I'll never measure up to that returnee from abroad. "What's so great about that Su Qinghe?" Maisie fumed. "Just because she spent a few years overseas, what's the big deal?" "In the Gu family's eyes, she is a big deal," I said flatly. "They're from the same social class, and their educational backgrounds match. That's something I can never compete with." Mei looked at me, her eyes filled with compassion. "Wanqiu, Are you really sure about this? I'm sure, I nodded. May, we're still young. Why should we limit ourselves to just one option? May thought for a moment, then finally nodded. You're right, Gu Changfeng letting you go is his loss, but Wanqiu, I'm worried about you living here alone. How about I stay with you for a few days? No need, I'd like some time alone. I declined her kind offer. Besides, you have work to attend to, you must tell me if anything's wrong, Maisie urged. Don't try to tough it out alone, I will. After seeing Maisie out, I started preparing dinner. Just then, the courtyard gate was knocked on again. I thought it was Maisie coming back, but when I opened the door, it turned out to be a young woman I didn't recognize. She was wearing a white dress with long hair flowing over her shoulders. Her delicate features and graceful demeanor made it clear she was a well-bred young lady from a good family. There was no doubt about it. This was Su Qinghe. Hello, are you Lin Wanqiu? She asked with a smile, her voice soft and pleasant. I am, I nodded. And you are? I'm Su Qinghe. She introduced herself with graceful composure. Just returned from abroad today. Brother Changfeng mentioned you. Brother Changfeng. In our past life she'd addressed Gu Changfeng the same way, that particular blend of familiarity and distance that felt unsettling yet impossible to pinpoint. So it's Miss Su, I said politely. Welcome back to the country. Thank you, she said, glancing at the yard behind me. I'd like to have a word with you. May I come in for a moment? Of course, I stepped aside. Please, come in. Su Qinghe walked into the yard, looking around briefly, a faint trace of mockery flickering in her eyes. It's so peaceful here, she remarked, quite suitable for living alone. Indeed, I said, pouring her a cup of tea. Is there something you needed, Miss Su? She took the teacup and took a graceful sip. Nothing urgent, really. I just wanted to see you. After all, I've heard Changfeng mention you many times. What did he say about me? I asked curiously. You're such a wonderful woman, kind, gentle, and virtuous, Su Qinghe said with a smile. I truly admire how understanding you are of his difficult situation. Understanding his difficult situation. I nearly laughed at her remark. You flatter me, Miss Su, I replied calmly. There's really nothing to understand. You can't force matters of the heart. Since Changfeng has chosen you, it means you two are better suited for each other. A flicker of smugness crossed Su Qinghe's eyes at these words. But she quickly composed herself. Who, do you really think so? She probed tentatively. Of course, I nodded. You're well matched in social status and education. Truly more compatible than we ever were, so you truly hold no resentment toward Brother Changfeng? She continued her subtle inquiry. I chuckled. Resentment? Why would I resent him? He didn't deceive me or betray me. He simply chose someone more compatible. What's there to resent? Su Qinghe was taken aback, clearly not expecting me to respond this way. In my past life, I would have wanted to tear her face apart upon seeing her, so my current reaction truly caught her off guard. You're such a kind-hearted girl, she said. Changfeng was right about you. Miss Su is quite lovely as well, I replied politely. The fact that Changfeng would abandon his marriage to be with you speaks volumes about your charm. It sounded like a compliment, but there was an undercurrent of sarcasm. Su Qinghe's smile faltered for a moment before she composed herself. Please don't say that. Changfeng and I have a completely innocent relationship. I know, I nodded, but even if it weren't innocent, it wouldn't matter. We're already divorced anyway. Su Qinghe was completely taken aback. In her past life, she came to me hoping to witness my humiliation, to see me suffer and resent my fate, but now, I've thrown her off by not playing by the usual rules, leaving all her preparations in vain. It's getting late, I said, standing up. You should head back soon. Miss Su, I'm sure the Gu family is waiting for you to join them for dinner. Oh, alright. Su Qinghe rose to her feet as well. I won't take up any more of your time then. As I saw her to the door, I suddenly called out, Miss Su, gazing into her eyes, I said slowly, I hope you'll truly cherish Changfeng and not betray the genuine feelings he holds for you. A flicker of complex emotions passed through Su Qinghe's eyes before she finally nodded. I will. I let out a cold laugh as I watched her retreating figure. Cherish. In her past life, she put Gu Changfeng through absolute hell before finally cuckolding him. Let's see what kind of trouble she can stir up in this lifetime. After Su Qinghe left, I sat on a small stool in the yard, gazing at the star-filled sky with an unusually tranquil heart. In my past life at this very moment, I was hiding indoors crying my eyes out. Yet in this life I can sit here admiring the stars. How unpredictable life can be. Just as I was lost in thought, the sound of a car engine came from outside the courtyard gate again. Peering through the crack in the gate, I saw it was Gu Changfeng's car once more. This is his second visit today. My unusual behavior must have really gotten under his skin. Wanqiu, I know you're home, open the door. His voice sounded weary. I didn't go to open the door right away. Instead, I lingered inside for a while before slowly making my way over. It's so late. What brings you here again? I asked indifferently as I opened the courtyard gate. Gu Changfeng looked at me with a complicated expression in his eyes. Has Suqing had come to see you? Yeah, she stopped by. I nodded. She's a beautiful girl. No wonder you like her so much. What did she say to you? He asked urgently. Nothing much. Just came to check out her ex-husband's former wife. I shrugged. What? Are you worried she'd give me a hard time? No. Gu Changfeng furrowed his brow. I was just afraid she might. Might what? Humiliate me. I chuckled. Don't worry. She was perfectly polite and didn't give me any trouble. And even if she had, so what? Given my current position, how could I possibly make a fuss with the future daughter-in-law of the Gu family? Gu Changfeng's face darkened at these words. Wanqiu, there's no need for you to talk like that. What's wrong with how I'm talking? I retorted. Did I say anything untrue? You know this is just a temporary arrangement. He grew agitated. We'll remarry after some time has passed. Remarry. I looked at him, my eyes full of mockery. Commander Gu, are you sure Miss Su would agree to you marrying a divorced woman? What does divorced even matter? He said impatiently. You are my wife, and you always will be. Then why did you divorce me? I stared directly into his eyes. If I truly were your only wife in this lifetime, you shouldn't have divorced me for anyone. Gu Changfeng was left speechless by my question. Wanqiu, you what? I sneered. You can't bear to part with me, but even more reluctant to let her go. You love me, but love her more. Or perhaps you think I'm an easy target. After all, we could always remarry if we divorce. While she's a returnee from abroad, and if you miss this chance, she'll be gone forever. That's not it. Gu Changfeng was so flustered that sweat beaded on his forehead. I don't have those kinds of feelings for Su Qinghe. It's you I love. Love me. My laughter turned even more icy. If you truly loved me, you wouldn't have asked me to get a divorce just to welcome her into your life. Gu Changfeng, don't you dare insult the word love. Alright. Gu Changfeng looked at me, his eyes filled with anguish. Wanqiu, you've changed. I haven't changed. You have, I said flatly. The old you would have stood up to anyone to protect me. Now you're making me leave with nothing but the clothes on my back, all for some outsider. Leave with nothing, he hurriedly explained. Everything still belongs to you. I just thought you should stay here temporarily. Oh really? I sneered. When Su Qinghe moves into the Gu residence, do you think she'll use my things? Will she wear my clothes, use my jewelry, sleep in my bed? Gu Changfeng turned pale. No. I won't let her touch any of your belongings. You won't let her. I looked at him mockingly. She's your family's guest, an honored one at that. Would you really cause trouble with her over some ex-wife's possessions? I would, he nearly shouted. No one is allowed to touch those things. I gazed at him calmly, my eyes unflinching. Gu Changfeng, do you know what you look like right now? Like what? 3. Like a two-timing scumbag, I said, enunciating every word. You want Su Qinghe. But you can't let go of me. You want a new flame, but you can't move on from your old love. Do you really think the world works that way? Stung by my words, Gu Changfeng rushed over and tried to embrace me. Wanqiu, it's not like that. You're the only one I love. I stepped back, evading his embrace. If you truly love only me, break things off with Su Qinghe right now. Make it clear to your mother, and we can get remarried immediately. Gu Changfeng froze, his lips trembling wordlessly. As I watched his expression, a chill settled in my heart. Just as I thought, he still couldn't make the choice. In my past life, his hesitation would have broken my heart, but now it just strikes me as ridiculous. See, you can't do it. I turned and walked inside. Gu Changfeng, don't come back. We have nothing left to say. Wanqiu, let me explain, he shouted, chasing after me. No need. I didn't look back. I understand perfectly. What do you even understand? I stopped in my tracks and turned to face him. I understand that you don't want me. You want a woman who will never get upset with you, who will always understand you, who will always be waiting for you. Unfortunately, I'm not that kind of woman. After saying that, I walked into the house and closed the door. From outside the door, I could hear Gu Changfeng knocking and calling my name, but I paid him no mind. He stood outside for a long time, but eventually drove away. Sitting on the edge of the bed, I replayed our conversation in my mind with mixed emotions. In my past life, I truly loved Gu Changfeng so deeply that I would have given up everything for him, even my dignity and life. But love, when not reciprocated equally, becomes a form of torment. Does he love me? Perhaps he did, but not deeply enough, not steadfastly enough, not courageously enough. He chose Su Qinghe not because he didn't love me, but because his love wasn't strong enough. If that's the case, why should I cling to it? Rather than deplete myself in this relationship, it's better to walk away sooner rather than later. Late at night, as I was about to go to bed, I suddenly heard hushed voices outside the courtyard gate. I quietly crept to the window and peered out. In the moonlight, I could make out two shadowy figures lurking suspiciously by the gate. My heart skipped a beat. Could they be burglars? Just as I was debating whether to call the police, I suddenly heard one of them speak. "Are you sure this is the place?" I pricked up my ears and listened intently. "Positive, it's this courtyard," the other person replied. "Commander Gu's ex-wife lives here." "Commander Gu's ex-wife, are they here for me?" I immediately went on high alert. I was betrayed and murdered in my past life. Could someone already be coming for me in this one? Should we make our move now? Wait, let's see if anyone's inside first. Terrified, I scrambled under the bed, my heart pounding like thunder. The two people outside lingered by the courtyard gate for a long time before finally leaving. I waited a long time before daring to come out, breaking out in a cold sweat from the scare. It seems my situation is more dangerous than I thought. Someone has already set their sights on me, but who would want to harm me? Su Qinghe, or someone else from the Gu family? I must be careful and absolutely cannot repeat the mistakes of my past life. Early the next morning, I went to the police station. "Comrade, I want to report a crime," I said to the officer on duty. "What's the matter?" The young police officer looked up at me. "Last night, someone was lurking outside my courtyard gate, like they were casing the place." I gave a detailed account of what happened. The officer took careful notes. "Where do you live?" 23, Hudong Street, Xiqing District. "Are you home alone?" "Yes, I just got divorced and live by myself." The officer nodded. "We'll increase patrols in that area. Make sure to stay vigilant and lock your doors and windows at night." "Alright, thank you." After leaving the police station, I went to the post office to send a letter to my cousin who works in another city. My cousin Lin Jianjun is my father's nephew. He works as a journalist in the provincial capital, a principled man with remarkable courage. In my past life, he spent a long time investigating my death but unfortunately couldn't find any evidence. This time I need to make arrangements in advance to get him to keep an eye on my safety. In the letter, I gave a detailed account of my current situation, my divorce from Gu Changfeng, moving to the West District, and the strange incident that happened last night. I made a point to write at the end of the letter, "Brother, if anything ever happens to me, please make sure to uncover the truth and don't let the guilty get away with it." After mailing the letter, I went to the bank, withdrew all my savings from over the years, converted it to cash, and hid it in various places. It wasn't much, just 2,000 in total, but in these times, that's not a small amount. If something really does go wrong, at least I have emergency funds. After finishing these arrangements, I returned to the small courtyard and found Sister Wang waiting for me at the gate. "Comrade Lin, where have you been? I've come by several times but no one was here." Sister Wang asked with concern. "Just went out to take care of some business," I said as I opened the courtyard gate. "Was there something you needed?" Sister Wang, "Nothing urgent really. I just wanted to tell you that last night I saw two people loitering around your courtyard gate. I couldn't tell what they were up to." My heart skipped a beat. Mrs. Wang had indeed spotted me. "What kind of people?" I asked, feigning ignorance. "Hard to see clearly, it's too dark out, but judging by their silhouettes, they were two young men." Mrs. Wang said with a frown. "They didn't look trustworthy. You should be careful living alone." "Alright, I understand." I nodded. "Thanks for the heads up, Mrs. Wang. Oh, by the way, I saw a girl in a white dress looking for you this morning," Sister Wang continued. "She left when she couldn't find you. Quite pretty. Is she a friend of yours?" "The girl in the white dress must be Su Qinghe. What does she want this time?" "I suppose so," I replied vaguely. "If she comes again, could you please tell her I'm not home?" "Alright, I understand." Sister Wang nodded, then lowered her voice and said, "Comrade Lin, that girl may be pretty, but I can't help feeling her smile seems a bit fake. You should be careful. Sister Wang really has a good eye." She could tell at a glance that Su Qinghe was no good person. "I'll be careful," I said gratefully. After seeing off Sister Wang, I began to ponder the purpose of Su Qinghe's visit today. She had already met with me yesterday, so her coming again today surely meant she had some new plan. Just as I was lost in thought, the courtyard gate was knocked on once more. Peering through the crack in the door, I confirmed it was indeed Su Qinghe. She was wearing a light blue dress today, carrying an elegant little purse in her hand, looking graceful and poised. "Lin Wanqiu, I know you're home, open the door." Her voice remained as gentle as ever. I hesitated for a moment, but ultimately opened the door. Miss Sue, here again, I asked indifferently. Yes, I stopped by this morning but couldn't find you, she said with a smile. I'd like to have a chat with you. What about? About Brother Changfeng, she said as she stepped into the courtyard. I feel our conversation from yesterday wasn't finished. I invited her to sit down and poured her a cup of tea. What would you like to discuss, Miss Sue? Su Qinghe took the teacup, took a graceful sip, and then looked straight into my eyes. I want to know, what are your true feelings for Brother Changfeng? What do you mean? I pretended not to understand. Yesterday you sounded so carefree, saying you understood his choice and wished us well. Su Qinghe set down the teacup. But I always felt you weren't being sincere. Why would you say that? If you truly didn't care, you wouldn't be living in a place like this. She glanced around the shabby surroundings. With your resources, you could easily move back to your parents' home or find someplace better. Why choose here? I scoffed inwardly. Su Qinghe was indeed a shrewd one, immediately pinpointing the heart of the matter. In my past life, I stayed here because I couldn't bear to part with Gu Changfeng, hoping he would visit and we could reconcile. But this life is different. I have my own reasons for staying here. You're overthinking it, Miss Sue, I said calmly. I live here because the rent is cheap. I'm currently unemployed and need to watch my expenses. Unemployed? Su Qinghe seemed surprised. Didn't Brother Changfeng arrange something for you? He offered, but I turned it down. I said, I don't want to owe him any favors. A complex emotion flashed in Su Qinghe's eyes. Then how do you plan to support yourself? Looking for work, I said matter-of-factly. I may not have much education, but I'm quick with my hands and feet. I'll find suitable work eventually. But, Su Qinghe trailed off, leaving her thought unfinished. But given your current situation, finding a job might not be so easy, she said cautiously. After all, you're Commander Gu's ex-wife. Many organizations would have reservations. Her words were carefully chosen, while appearing concerned for me. She was actually reminding me of my awkward position. Then I'll find work where I don't have to worry about these things, I said casually, like running a small business, or doing laundry for people. Su Qinghe's eyes flickered with a hint of smugness at these words, but she quickly composed herself. Do you really plan to live like this for the rest of your life? She asked. What's wrong with living like this? I retorted. There's nothing shameful about making an honest living with your own two hands. That's not what I meant, Su Qinghe hurried to explain. I just think you're pushing yourself too hard. Pushing myself too hard, I chuckled. Miss Sue, you might not understand. Some hardships are worth enduring, while others aren't. Suffering for the sake of one's dignity, I'd say that's well worth it. The remark was clearly aimed at her, and Su Qinghe's expression shifted slightly. Are you talking about me? She asked bluntly. I was referring to myself, I replied calmly. Miss Sue, please don't take this personally. Su Qinghe was left speechless by my remark. After a moment, she changed the subject. So you really have no feelings left for Brother Changfeng? What kind of feelings? Like, getting back together? She ventured tentatively. I looked at her and suddenly smiled. Miss Sue, what exactly did you come here to say today? Let's be direct. Su Qinghe seemed a bit unsettled by my bluntness, but still managed to maintain an elegant smile. All right, since you put it that way, I'll be direct. She straightened her posture. I hope you can completely let go of Changfeng and stop giving him any hope. After Brother Changfeng went home last night, he just wasn't himself, Su Qinghe said. He kept thinking about you, about your shared past. I'm worried that if this continues, it will affect our relationship. So that's it. It seems I really got to Gu Changfeng last night. His unusual behavior after returning home made Su Qinghe feel threatened. That's why she came to see me today specifically, to completely sever Gu Changfeng's lingering thoughts of me. So, Miss Sue, what would you like me to do? I asked. I want you to leave this place and start a new life in another city. Su Qinghe revealed her true intention. I can give you a sum of money, enough for you to make a fresh start, just like in my past life. She tried to buy me off with money, wanting me to disappear from Gu Changfeng's life. How much? I asked curiously. 5,000 yuan, Su Qinghe said. That's a fortune these days, enough to support you anywhere for a long time. $5,000. That's quite a sum, equivalent to several years' wages for an average worker. It seems Su Qinghe really wants me gone, Miss Sue. Don't you find this rather odd? I looked at her. If Changfeng truly loved you, he wouldn't be swayed by my presence, by paying to make me leave. Aren't you just proving you have no confidence in his love for you? Su Qinghe turned pale, as I had hit a nerve. I just didn't want any surprises, she protested weakly. If I took your money and left, what would Changfeng think? I pressed further. Would he see you as kind and generous, or petty and narrow-minded? Su Qinghe was completely stumped by my question, her face darkening with discomfort. Miss Su, let me give you some advice. I stood up. If you truly love Changfeng, use your charm to win him over, not these underhanded tactics. What did you say? Su Qinghe also stood up, her elegant facade finally crumbling. What underhanded tactics? Paying off a love rival to leave, what else would you call that but underhanded? I sneered. Miss Su, didn't your overseas education teach you how to compete fairly? Lin Wanqiu, Su Qinghe trembled with rage. Don't you dare push your luck when I'm being civil. Oh, I raised an eyebrow, getting defensive. Miss Su, the elegant returnee from abroad just turned into a shrew in an instant. Su Qinghe realized she'd lost her composure and struggled to rein in her emotions. I haven't what? Haven't shown your true colors. I cut her off. Miss Su, did you really think I wouldn't see through your little scheme? I don't know what you're talking about. She insisted, barely holding her ground. You don't know. I sneered. Then let me enlighten you. You want me gone not because you're worried Changfeng still has feelings for me, but because you never loved him in the first place. My words struck like lightning, leaving Su Qinghe utterly stunned. That's a lie, she shrieked. A lie. I closed in on her. If you truly loved him, you'd have confidence in making him forget me instead of scheming to erase my existence. Your actions prove one thing, you're hiding something. Su Qinghe's face turned deathly pale, her body trembling slightly. I knew I had guessed right. In my past life after I died, her marriage with Gu Changfeng was unhappy, they fought constantly, and she ultimately cheated on him. This proves she never truly loved Gu Changfeng from the start, she was only after the Gu family's power and status. Miss Su, this is my final warning, I said, enunciating each word clearly, stay away from me. Or you'll leave me no choice. With that, I pushed past her and headed straight for the courtyard gate. Lin Wanqiu, Su Qinghe shouted after me, you'll regret this. Without even turning my head, I retorted, then let me regret it. After kicking Su Qinghe out, I felt absolutely fantastic. In my past life she made me suffer terribly, so this time I finally got my revenge, but I knew this was only the beginning. Someone like Su Qinghe would never let this slide, she'd definitely find a way to get back at me. I need to be more careful and absolutely cannot let her succeed. On the third day after Su Qinghe left, I received an unexpected phone call. Hello, may I ask if this is Comrade Lin Wanqiu? Yes, who is this? I'm from the HR department at the textile factory. We'd like to discuss a job opportunity with you. Could you come by the factory when it's convenient? The textile factory. I was taken aback. I hadn't sent my resume to any textile factory. May I ask what the position is? I inquired. Archivist, responsible for organizing worker files. The work is light, and the pay is decent, the other party said enthusiastically. Our factory director heard about your situation and specially arranged this position for you. The factory director heard about my situation. Alarm bells went off in my head. Something was definitely off here. May I ask which factory director it is? Director Zhang. Comrade Zhang Jiming. Don't you know him? Zhang Jiming. I searched my memory but couldn't place him. Then why would he assign work to me? Sorry, I just remembered I have some things to take care of recently and probably won't be able to make it to work. I politely declined. Hey, don't be like that, the other person said anxiously. A job this good doesn't come around often. Would you reconsider? Really? No thank you, I insisted, then hung up the phone. I'm absolutely certain this job is a complete scam. This was either orchestrated by Su Qinghe or someone else from the Gu family. They're trying to transfer me to the textile mill. There must be some scheme behind it. In my past life, I was too naive, always taking people's kindness at face value, and ended up walking right into their trap. This time, I won't be fooled again. Maisie came to see me on her bicycle in the afternoon. Wanqiu, I heard someone offered you a job. She asked as soon as she walked in. How did you know? I was a bit surprised. I ran into Sister One on the street. She said someone from the textile factory came looking for you this morning. Maisie sat down. So, how did it go? I turned it down. You turned it down. Maisie's eyes widened. Why? The textile mill job is perfect, stable with decent pay. Something feels off. I voiced my concerns. Think about it. Why would the factory manager offer a job to a recently divorced woman like me out of the blue? Maisie pondered for a moment, then nodded. You're right, that is strange. Jobs are so hard to come by these days, since when do opportunities just fall from the sky? Right, that's why I turned it down. So what's your plan then? You can't just stay like this forever, Maisie asked with concern. I've already made up my mind. I'm going to start a small business. I shared my plan. Since it's summer, I could buy some ice pops wholesale and sell them on the street. Sell ice pops? Maisie frowned. Wanqiu, you're a high school graduate. Isn't selling ice pops a bit too what? Too embarrassing, I chuckled. Maisie, there's nothing shameful about earning an honest living through your own hard work. Maisie was left speechless by my words. Besides, think about it, my current situation is awkward. There are many proper jobs I can't really take on, I continued explaining. Running a small business gives me freedom, no one breathing down my neck, and I don't have to answer to anyone. But, Maisie still seemed uneasy. No buts, I patted her hand. Maisie, my mind's made up. Who knows, if we do this right, we might even make good money. Seeing my determination, Maisie finally nodded. All right, since you've decided, I'm with you. Just say the word if you need my help. Thank you, Maisie. That very night, I started drafting a detailed plan. First, I need to contact the food factory for popsicle wholesale, then buy a small cart, and pick a good sales spot. While I was planning, there was more commotion outside the courtyard gate. I quietly went to the window to look outside. This time it wasn't just one person, but 3 or 4. They were lurking suspiciously outside the courtyard gate, whispering and discussing something. My instincts kicked in immediately. These people were definitely up to no good. I crept toward the back door, ready to climb over the fence and escape through the yard, but just as I cracked open the back door, I heard the front gate being forced open. Search the place, she's got to be home, a rough voice shouted. Oh no, they're coming in. Without a second thought, I scrambled over the backyard wall and landed in Aunt Wang's yard next door. Who's there? Aunt Wang was startled awake by the noise and came out to check. Aunt Wang, it's me, I whispered urgently. Someone broke into my house. I escaped through the backyard. At this, Sister Wang grew tense and urged, then call the police right away. All right, I'll go do that immediately. What is it? I dashed out through Sister Wang's front door and headed straight for the nearest police station. Comrade, someone's broken into my home, I shouted as soon as I burst through the police station entrance. The officer on duty immediately stood up. What's going on? I recounted the incident in detail. Are you sure they weren't burglars? The officer asked. No, they were clearly targeting me, I stated firmly. Besides, there's nothing valuable in my home anyway. The police officer immediately arranged for someone to accompany me to the scene. By the time we reached the small courtyard, those people had already fled. The room was turned upside down, but strangely enough, nothing was missing. It definitely doesn't look like burglars, the officer said after inspecting the scene. They seemed to be searching for something specific. My heart sank. What were they looking for? Were they trying to dig up dirt on me to use as leverage? Comrade, have you offended anyone recently? The police officer asked. I thought for a moment and shook my head. No, I just got divorced. Aside from my ex-husband's family, I haven't had much contact with anyone. Your ex-husband's place, the officer seized on the key detail. What does your ex-husband do? He's with the military district. Gu Chongfeng. The officer's expression shifted slightly at the name. Here's what we'll do, stay with relatives or friends tonight, the officer said. We'll increase patrols in this area tomorrow. If anything else happens, call the police immediately. Okay, thank you. After leaving the police station, I didn't go to Maisie's place or back to my dad's. Instead, I headed to a small hotel on the other side of the city. I needed to find a safe place to think things through, to figure out who was really after me, Su Qinghe, or someone else from the Gu family, or perhaps that mysterious director Zhang. Lying on the narrow hotel bed, I reminisced about my past life experiences. How did I die in my past life? Poisoning. Who poisoned me? I never figured it out, but looking back now, someone must have been slowly poisoning my food. Could the person who broke into my house this time have been trying to plant something here? Like poison, the thought sent a chill down my spine. Thankfully, I was quick-witted enough to escape in time, or the consequences would have been unthinkable. It seems I must be even more cautious and never let my guard down. In this lifetime, I'll make sure those who wish me harm know I'm not someone to be trifled with. Early the next morning, I went to the market to set my plan in motion. If they want to play games, I'll see them through to the end, but this time, I hold all the cards. After spending the night at the inn, I headed to the market first thing in the morning. The food factory's wholesale outlet was at the very back of the market. I found the person in charge and inquired about wholesale ice pops. How many are you looking to order, young friend? A middle-aged man greeted me warmly. I'd like to start with a small trial order. Just 50 sticks, I said. 50, he paused, taken aback. That's hardly anything. We usually sell by the case, you'd need at least 500. I'm just starting out and testing the waters, I explained. If they sell well, I'll increase the order later. The middle-aged man thought for a moment, then nodded. All right then, since you seem like an honest girl, I'll make an exception and give you 50 popsicles, but I can't offer you the bulk wholesale price. After settling on the price, I paid and received the 50 popsicles, then I bought a small cart, made some simple modifications, and turned it into a mobile popsicle stand. When choosing a sales location, I deliberately picked a spot close to the Gu family, the commercial street near the military compound's main gate. The area had heavy foot traffic, mostly military families coming and going, which was perfect for letting the Gu family see my current situation. I pushed my cart to the commercial street, picked a prominent spot, and started hawking my wares, ice pops, fresh ice pops. On a sweltering summer day, ice pops were selling like hotcakes, and before long, customers started lining up. How much for an ice pop, young lady? An elderly woman inquired. 5 cents each, I replied with a smile. I'll take 2. I handed her 2 ice pops and collected 10 cents, and just like that, the business gradually took off. At noon, when the heat was at its peak, the ice pops sold like hotcakes. Right in the middle of my bustling activity, I suddenly heard someone call my name, Lin Wancho. I looked up and saw several military wives from the compound, staring at me with surprised expressions. Oh my, it really is Wancho. One of them, Li Fong, came over. What are you doing selling ice pops here? I gave a slightly awkward smile. Necessity is the mother of invention. Can't just sit around waiting for the money to run out. But you're not. Another military wife trailed off hesitantly. Not what? Not Commander Gu's wife. I chuckled self-deprecatingly. That's all in the past. Now I'm just an ordinary laid-off female worker. The military wives exchanged glances, clearly surprised to see me reduced to such circumstances. Wancho, why don't you go talk to Commander Gu and ask him to help arrange a job for you? Li Fong suggested kindly. No, thank you. I shook my head. We're divorced now, and I don't want to trouble him anymore. Besides, there's no shame in making an honest living with my own 2 hands. But what? I cut in with a smile, sisterly. Would you like some ice pops? I have cream, red bean, and mung bean flavors. The military wives felt too awkward to refuse, so each bought 2 popsicles. Take care of yourself, Wancho. Li Fong patted my shoulder before leaving. Don't hesitate to reach out if you run into any trouble. Thank you, Sister Li. Watching their retreating figures fade into the distance, I knew my plan had succeeded. It wouldn't be long before news of Lin Wancho selling ice pops at the military compound's entrance spread throughout the entire neighborhood. Gu Changfeng will know, Su Qinghe will know, and everyone in the Gu family will know. What will they think? Will they pity me? Will they feel guilty? Or will they think I'm deliberately making a statement? Whatever they think, I couldn't care less. I just wanted them to know that I, Lin Wancho, am not the kind of woman who can't survive without a man. In the afternoon, I had almost sold out all the ice pops and was about to pack up and go home when I suddenly spotted a familiar black car parked not far away. Gu Changfeng got out of the car and strode toward me. His face was grim, his eyes filled with complex emotions. Late autumn, he approached me, his voice slightly hoarse. Chief Gu. I continued tidying the cart without looking up. Why are you doing this? He asked. Doing what? I pretended not to understand. Why are you selling ice pops here? His voice was pained. You know perfectly well this area is always full of military personnel. So what? I finally looked up at him. Is it illegal for me to sell ice pops here? Or are you ashamed of me? Commander Gu, that's not it. He shook his head hurriedly. I just hate to see you like this. Hate to see me like this. I let out a cold laugh. You have no right to pity me. Commander Gu, we're divorced. Whether I live or die is none of your concern. How can you say it doesn't matter? He grew agitated. You'll always be the one I care about most. Oh really? I looked at him. Then why is the person you care about most selling ice pops on this street to survive, while you're at home whining and dining with your overseas returned miss? Gu Changfeng was rendered speechless by my words. Wancho, I know you're angry with me. He finally spoke after a moment. But what's the point in throwing your life away like this? Degrading myself, I snapped. Gu Changfeng, get this straight. I'm earning an honest living, not debasing myself, unlike some people who abandon their lawful wives for outsiders. Now that's what I call degradation. I never abandoned you, he retorted, agitation coloring his voice. I told you this is just a temporary measure. Temporary measure, I sneered, fixing him with a sardonic stare. How many days has it been? Just how long is this temporary measure of yours going to last? Gu Changfeng's mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Forget it, I don't want to argue with you. I started pushing the cart to leave. Commander Gu, please don't come looking for me anymore. There's nothing left for us to say. Wancho, just listen to me. He rushed after me, Trying to grab my arm, I jerked my arm away from him. Don't touch me. The motion was a bit too forceful, causing the cart to lose its balance and topple over. The remaining ice pops scattered across the floor. I knelt down to clean up in silence, my heart aching with bitterness. It wasn't about the ice pops, but the grievances from my past life that came flooding back. Let me help you, Gu Chongfeng said as he knelt down to assist. No, I refused coldly, but he insisted on helping me right the cart and put the ice pops back in the box. Wancho, let's talk, he said. Stop running away like this. Running away? I stood up. Am I the one running away, or are you? Gu Chongfeng, what is there to discuss? Whether you want to explain why you divorced me for Su Qinghe, or when you'll finally leave her and remarry me. I stared straight into his eyes. I'll only talk if you can give me a definite answer right now. Gu Chongfeng fell silent. He couldn't give an answer, because he still couldn't bring himself to let go of Su Qinghe. See, you don't even know what you want yourself. So what's there to discuss? I pushed the cart forward. Gu Chongfeng, come find me when you've figured it out. His voice came from behind me. Wancho, give me some time. I didn't turn around. I've already given you time. Gu Chongfeng, you're the one who didn't value it. After pushing the cart further away, I glanced back. Gu Chongfeng remained standing there, his silhouette radiating profound loneliness. In my past life, seeing him like this would have melted my heart. I'd have gone back to comfort him, continuing to play the role of the understanding wife, but not in this lifetime. I'm no longer that foolish woman who gives endlessly without expecting anything in return. Gu Chongfeng, if you truly loved me, you'd make this choice for me. If you can't do that, then we're really over. When I returned to the courtyard, I found the lock had been changed. The new lock looked sturdy, much better than the old one. In this lifetime, I'm going to live for myself. Just as I was puzzling over it, Sister Wang emerged from next door. Wancho, you're back, she said with a smile. I had my son change the lock. The old one was too worn out and unsafe. Sister Wang, you really shouldn't have gone to all this trouble, I said, feeling a bit embarrassed. No trouble at all, it was nothing. Sister Wang waved her hand dismissively. Those people yesterday turned your place upside down, but I've already tidied it up for you. Here's the key. Taking the keys, I felt a warmth in my heart. Thank you, Sister Wang, we're neighbors, no need for formalities. Sister Wang took my hand. Wancho, you need to be careful. I've been feeling like something's not right lately. Someone came asking about you again today. Sister Wang lowered her voice. A young woman in a white dress. She was asking what time you usually come home and if you have visitors. Su Qinghe. She still hasn't given up, just as I thought. How did you respond? I asked. Of course I couldn't tell the truth, Sister Wang said with a sly smile. I told her you'd already moved out and don't live here anymore. Sister Wang, you're truly brilliant, I said with genuine admiration. Absolutely, Sister Wang snorted. I could tell that girl was no good from the start. Pretty face, but there's something off about her eyes. They've got this sly, venomous look to them. Sister Wang's intuition was spot on. She saw right through Su Qinghe's true nature at a glance. Sister Wang, if she comes back, just tell her the same thing, I reminded her. Say I've moved away and you don't know where I went. Don't worry, I know what to do. Sister Wang nodded. By the way, Wancho, what did you do today? I told her all about selling ice pops. Sister Wang listened with an approving look. Good for you. That's the way to do it. Earning your keep with your own hands. Let no one look down on you. Sister Wang, don't you think I'm embarrassing myself? I asked tentatively. Embarrassing? How so? Sister Wang widened her eyes. Hard work is something to be proud of. It's the lazybones who should be ashamed. After chatting with Sister Wang for a while, I went back inside. The room had been tidied up nicely, even cleaner than when I'd left yesterday. I lay down on the bed, thinking over everything that had happened today. Selling ice pops was tough work, but the pay wasn't bad. After covering costs, I made over a yuan in profit from 50 ice pops. If every day goes like this, I could make over $30 a month, enough to cover all my living expenses. And when I ran into Gu Chongfeng today, I could sense his anguish and inner turmoil. That means my plan is working. He's starting to realize what life without me really means. But that's not enough. I need to make him wake up completely, to make him understand that if he keeps this up, he'll lose me forever. Just as I was thinking this, I suddenly heard a soft knock at the courtyard gate. Alert. I walked to the window and looked out. It was actually May. Plum, what brings you here so late? I opened the door and let her in. I was worried about you. Plum hugged me as soon as she stepped inside. I heard someone broke into your place yesterday. Are you okay? I'm fine. I got away in time. I patted her back. How did you find out? I went to the police station to ask. Plum released me and looked me over carefully. Wancho, why don't you come stay at my place? It's too dangerous for you to be here alone. No need, I can protect myself. I shook my head. And moving in with you would only put you in danger. 5. What do you mean, put me in danger? May grumbled. We're friends. Friends are supposed to look out for each other. A warm feeling spread through my chest. May truly was the best friend I could ever ask for. May, I'm really fine, I said, taking her hand. And I've already come up with a plan. What's the plan? I told her about selling ice pops today. Maisie's face fell after hearing this. Wancho, have you lost your mind? Selling ice pops at the military compound's entrance. Isn't that deliberately trying to embarrass Gu Changfeng? Why should I care about saving his face? I shot back. Did he ever consider my feelings when he divorced me? But what good will this do you? Maisie stamped her foot anxiously. What if he gets angry and takes it out on you even more? He wouldn't dare, I said calmly. Everyone knows he abandoned his first wife to marry that overseas returnee. If he does anything worse to me now, his reputation will be completely ruined. Maisie thought for a moment, then nodded. You have a point. Besides, I have another reason for doing this, I continued. I want everyone to see that Lin Wancho can live just fine without Gu Changfeng. So you plan to keep selling ice pops forever? For now, yes, I nodded. Once I save up enough capital, I'll open a small shop and try a different business. Maisie looked at me with admiration in her eyes. Wancho, I really admire you. If it were me, I would have been crying my eyes out long ago. What's the use of crying? I said with a bitter smile. Tears can't buy happiness. So you've really decided to cut ties with Gu Changfeng for good? Maisie asked. I was silent for a moment. If he can give up Su Qinghe for me, I might consider forgiving him, but if he can't, then it's truly over between us. What if he never can? Then so be it, I said lightly. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Why cling to just one? May nodded. I'm glad you see it that way. May didn't leave until we'd talked late into the night. Lying alone in bed, I started making plans for tomorrow. I'll be selling ice pops again tomorrow, just in a different spot. The impact at the military compound gate has been achieved. Going back would seem forced. I need to find a location with high foot traffic and affluent patrons. Ideally, I'd encounter more acquaintances to spread my pitiful situation further. With these thoughts swirling in my mind, I gradually drifted into sleep. In the dead of night, I was abruptly awakened by a faint rustling sound. The noise was coming from the courtyard. I held my breath and listened intently. Someone was moving about in the courtyard. My heart leaped into my throat. Are those people from yesterday back again? I quietly got out of bed and crept over to the window to look outside. In the moonlight, I saw a shadowy figure moving furtively around the yard. He seemed to be searching for something, pausing by the water vat before moving to the kitchen doorway. I scrambled to hide in a panic, my heart hammering like thunder. What was this person trying to do? Suddenly, the memory of being poisoned in my past life came rushing back. Is he trying to poison my water or food? At that thought, I nearly cried out, but I forced myself to stay calm. Making a sound now would only alert him, and as a woman, I'm no match for him physically. I need to find a way to protect myself. Quietly reaching toward the bedside, I picked up the whistle I had prepared in advance. I bought this earlier today specifically for a situation like this. I took a deep breath and blew the whistle with all my might. A sharp whistle pierced the night air, jarringly shrill. The shadowy figure in the courtyard visibly startled, then scrambled toward the gate. Soon, lights flickered on in all the neighboring houses. What's going on? Came Sister Wang's voice from next door. Thief, I yelled at the top of my lungs. Someone's broken into my yard. Mrs. Wang immediately called out to her son, Xiaojiang. Get up quick, there's a thief. Within moments, several neighbors came rushing out. But that shadowy figure had already vanished without a trace. Are you alright, Wancho? Sister Wang asked with concern. I'm fine, just a bit shaken up, I said, still feeling rattled. These thieves have some nerve, Sister Wang exclaimed angrily. I'm going to report this to the police tomorrow. Let it go, Sister Wang. I shook my head. They're long gone. Calling the police won't do any good now. There's another reason I don't want to involve the police. I suspect this isn't your ordinary thief, but someone sent by another party. Calling the cops now might tip them off. I need to find out who's behind this myself. That's not acceptable, Sister Wang objected. What if they succeed with their plan? I'll be more careful, I reassured her. And with you and the neighbors looking out for me, I feel much more at ease. After offering a few more words of comfort, everyone headed back to get some rest. I went back inside and gave the place a thorough check. I checked everything, the water vat, the rice sacks, the kitchen, but didn't find anything out of the ordinary. It seems my whistle scared that guy off before he could make a move, but I know they won't just let this go. Tomorrow I need to find a way to identify these people and figure out who's really after me, and from now on, I'll have to be extra careful not to give them any opening, in this life. I will never repeat the mistakes of my past. The next morning, instead of rushing to sell ice pops, I went to the post office first. I need to write another letter to my cousin to update him on the latest situation. Bro, I'm in more and more danger. Last night, someone broke into my house again, but luckily I caught them in time. I suspect someone is out to get me. If anything happens to me, you have to avenge me. I'm currently living at 23, Hudong Street, West District. My neighbor, Auntie Wang, is a good person. She can vouch for me. Also, I suspect Su Qinghe is involved in all this. Keep a close eye on her. I mailed the letter right after finishing it. Then I went to the bank to deposit the money I earned yesterday. It wasn't much, but every little bit adds up and might come in handy someday. After taking care of all that, I finally headed to the market to wholesale ice pops. I bought 100 ice pops wholesale today and plan to sell them near the train station. There's heavy foot traffic there, and most people are out-of-towners, so I won't run into anyone I know. Pushing my cart to the station square, I picked a shady spot and started hawking my goods. Ice pops, cool, refreshing ice pops to beat the heat, just as expected. Business here is much better than yesterday. In less than 2 hours, we'd already sold most of the 100 ice pops. I was happily counting the money when someone suddenly tapped me on the shoulder. Comrade Lin. I turned to see a middle-aged man in a Mao suit who carried an air of authority. And you are? I asked, puzzled. I'm Zhang Jiming from the textile mill. He introduced himself. I called you yesterday, Zhang Jiming, the factory director who was going to arrange a job for me. Good afternoon, Director Zhang, I greeted politely, though internally my alarm bells were ringing. Fancy meeting you here. Zhang Jiming glanced at my popsicle stand. Running a small business now, just making an honest living. I replied flatly. Why put yourself through such hardship? Zhang Jiming said with earnest concern. That job offer I mentioned still stands. You should consider it. Thank you for your kindness, Director Zhang, but I'm quite content with my current situation, I insisted. Zhang Jiming furrowed his brow slightly. Comrade Lin, you're being too hard on yourself. The archivist position is respectable and far less demanding, much better than working out here exposed to the elements. I really am fine with how things are, I repeated. Even if you won't think of yourself, you should consider your father. Zhang Jiming abruptly changed the subject. Comrade Lin Jiangwo has dedicated years to the factory and is up for an exemplary worker award soon. Don't you think your high-profile street vending could reflect poorly on him? That clearly sounded like a threat. My heart sank. It seemed Zhang Jiming really was no good man. Director Zhang, what does my father's job have to do with me? I asked coldly. How could it not matter? A child's behavior affects their parents' reputation, Zhang Jiming said with a sinister smile. Don't you agree? I see. This person is threatening me. If I don't accept his kindness, it will affect my father's job. But I absolutely will not give in, Director Zhang. My father is an upright man who never compromises because of others' threats, I said, looking him straight in the eye. And neither will I. Zhang Jiming's expression darkened. Comrade Lin, what are you implying? You know exactly what I mean. I started packing up the popsicle stand. I have other matters to attend to, so I won't keep you. Lin Wanqiu, Zhang Jiming called after me. Don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. I stopped what I was doing and turned to face him. Director Zhang, is that a threat? That's not a threat, it's a warning, Zhang Jiming snarled. There are some people you don't want to cross. Oh really? I sneered. I'd like to see what kind of person could be so formidable. With that, I pushed the cart and walked away. Zhang Jiming shouted after me. Lin Wanqiu, you'll regret this. It seems my hunch was right. These people are clearly organized and acting with premeditation. And Zhang Jiming is likely playing a key role in all this. But who exactly is pulling his strings? Su Qinghe, or someone else from the Gu family? Back in the small courtyard, I found Maisie waiting for me at the door. Wanqiu, you're finally back. She rushed over as soon as she saw me. Something terrible has happened. But what? What's wrong? My heart tightened with anxiety. Your father was called in for a talk at the factory, Maisie said anxiously. They said someone reported him for problematic work conduct. That bastard Zhang Jiming actually dared to go after my dad. What's the situation now? I asked urgently. Still under investigation, Maisie said, but I heard the report is very detailed, listing numerous charges. What charges? They accused him of exploiting his position to benefit relatives, and even claimed he has questionable personal conduct. May's voice grew more indignant. This is clearly a targeted attack on your father. They're even dragging my father into this just to get at me. Wancho, you have to do something. May was on the verge of tears. What will we do if your father actually gets disciplined? I took a deep breath and forced myself to stay calm. Getting angry won't solve anything. I need to find a way to fight back. Maisie, I need a favor, I said. Find out who reported my father. Alright, I'm on it, Maisie replied, springing into action immediately. After Maisie left, I sat in the courtyard, carefully analyzing the situation. Their intentions are clear. They want to force me into submission. First, they broke into my home, trying to dig up some dirt on me. Then they sent someone to poison me, attempting to kill me outright. Now that these methods have failed, they've started threatening my family. It's clear they're determined to get rid of me. But why? I'm just an ordinary divorced woman. Why would they see me as such a threat? Unless my existence poses a threat to someone's interests. Su Qinghe wants to marry Gu Changfeng, and my presence is indeed an obstacle. But is it a bit of an overreaction to want me dead just for that? Unless she has some other motive, or unless there's a more powerful force behind her. Just as I was thinking, the courtyard gate was knocked on. I went to open the door, and it turned out to be Gu Changfeng. His face was pale, his eyes filled with guilt and anguish. Wanqiu, I heard about your father, he said right away. I'm so sorry. What are you apologizing for? I stared at him coldly. What does this have to do with you? If it weren't for our divorce, your father wouldn't have been targeted, Gu Changfeng said painfully. This is all my fault. Your fault, I sneered. Gu Changfeng, you're quite good at shifting blame. Do you really think these things happened because of the divorce? Isn't that the case? He looked at me in confusion. Of course not. I raised my voice. Someone's after my life, Gu Changfeng. They're trying to kill me. Gu Changfeng's eyes widened in shock. What? Last night someone broke into my home. Today Zhang Jiming threatened me. And now someone's filed a report against my father. I said each word deliberately. It's all a calculated scheme designed to drive me to my grave. What do you mean? How could this happen? Gu Changfeng said incredulously. Who would want to harm you? I looked him straight in the eye. What do you think? Gu Changfeng froze for a moment. Then his face turned pale. Are you saying, Qinghe? I didn't name anyone. You're the one who thought of her. I said coldly. Impossible. Gu Changfeng shook his head immediately. Qinghe isn't that kind of person. She's kind and gentle. How could she ever harm anyone? Kind and gentle. I almost laughed out loud. Gu Changfeng, you're completely smitten by her. Wanqiu, don't jump to conclusions, Gu Changfeng said with a frown. It might be someone else. Someone else, I retorted. Who else could possibly hate me this much besides her? Gu Changfeng was at a loss for words. Honestly, no one but Su Qinghe would have any reason to harm me. Gu Changfeng, I'm asking you one last time, I said, looking at him. Will you choose me? Or her? I almost burst out laughing. Gu Changfeng closed his eyes in anguish. Wanqiu, why are you forcing me to choose? Because this is a matter of life and death, I cried out. If you don't make a decision now, I could really die. No one will ever hurt you. I won't allow it. Gu Changfeng opened his eyes, his gaze resolute. I'll protect you. How exactly? I scoffed. By moving me back into the Gu residence, so I can play happy sisters with Su Qinghe. Gu Changfeng fell silent again. I shook my head in disappointment. Changfeng, you still don't understand anything. I get it, he suddenly exclaimed, his voice charged with emotion. I know what you want. You want me to give up Qinghe and cut all ties with her. Exactly, I nodded. It's as simple as that. But I can't do that, Gu Changfeng said in anguish. She's the daughter of my father's old comrade in arms. I can't just cast her out like that. Then there's nothing more to discuss. I turned and walked toward the house. Gu Changfeng, you should leave, Wanqiu, he called after me. Give me some time, I'll figure something out. I stopped in my tracks and said without turning around, there's no time left. Gu Changfeng, either make your decision now, or we part ways here. With that, I walked into the room and closed the door. From outside came the sound of Gu Changfeng's knocking and calls, but I paid them no mind. He stood outside for a long time, but eventually walked away. I sat on the edge of the bed. My heart turned to ashes. It seems Gu Changfeng will never make a choice for me. In that case, I'll have to rely on myself. Su Qinghe, you want to play games, is that it? Then I'll play along with you till the very end. This time, I'll make sure you learn what it means to face the consequences of your own actions. When Maisie returned in the evening, she brought shocking news. Late autumn, I found out, she exclaimed excitedly as soon as she stepped through the door. The one who reported your father is Su Qinghe. Even though I was somewhat prepared, I still felt a surge of anger upon hearing the confirmed news. Are you sure? I asked. Absolutely, Maisie nodded. My friend saw the signature on the report letter. She's trying to force your hand this way. That bitch Su Qinghe will stop at nothing to get what she wants. But there's some good news, Maisie continued. Your father's supervisor is a reasonable man. He suspects the report is questionable and is investigating the whistleblower's motives, which means your father is safe for now, Maisie explained. But if we can't prove Su Qinghe filed a false report with malicious intent, he could still be in trouble. I stayed silent for a moment, already forming a plan. Maisie, I need a favor, I said. Go to the Gu residence tomorrow and tell Su Qinghe there's something important I need to discuss with her. What's so important? Just say I'm leaving the city and want to see her one last time, I replied, a cold glint flashing in my eyes. Arrange to meet her at the abandoned factory outside the city. Maisie froze for a moment. Wancho, what are you planning to do? I'm going to confront her, I said coldly. This game needs to end. But, Maisie sounded worried. What if she doesn't show up? She'll come, I said with certainty. She's been wanting me gone. Why would she miss this chance? Maisie still seemed uneasy. Wancho. It's too dangerous for you to go alone. Should I come with you? No need, I can handle myself. I shook my head, and having more people would just complicate things. The next day, Maisie went to the Gu residence as I had requested. Just as expected, Su Qinghe immediately agreed to meet upon hearing the news. She arranged to meet me at 3 p.m. that same afternoon at the abandoned textile factory outside the city. I arrived at the scene an hour early, carefully surveyed the terrain, and made thorough preparations. The abandoned factory was extremely remote, with no other buildings around, perfect for my plan. At 3 o'clock sharp, Su Qinghe appeared. She was wearing a black dress today, with delicate makeup on her face, looking elegant and poised. But I know that beneath this beautiful mask lies a heart as venomous as a serpent's. Wancho, what brings you to me? She approached gracefully, a triumphant smile playing on her lips. Nothing urgent. I just wanted to have a chat with you before I leave, I said calmly. What about? Let's talk about why you tried to harm me, I said, looking straight into her eyes. Su Qinghe's smile froze for a moment before returning to normal. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Don't understand, I sneered. Then let me refresh your memory. The people who broke into my house were sent by you. Zhang Jiming works for you. And you're the one who reported my father. A flicker of panic crossed Su Qinghe's eyes, but she quickly composed herself. Do you have any proof? Of course I have evidence. I pulled a recorder from my bag. I recorded the entire conversation when Zhang Jiming threatened me. This was a complete lie. I hadn't recorded anything at all. But Su Qinghe didn't know that. Her face instantly turned pale. You recorded it. Not only that, but I have proof that you put him up to this. I continued bluffing. Su Qinghe, you're finished. Impossible, Su Qinghe shrieked. There's no way you have evidence. You'll find out soon enough whether I have proof or not, I said calmly. I've already given all the evidence to my cousin. He's a journalist, and he'll be making this public very soon. Su Qinghe completely panicked. She rushed over and tried to snatch my bag. Give me the recorder. I was prepared and deftly dodged her attack. Su Qinghe, you've finally shown your true colors, I said coldly, staring at her. Look at yourself now. Do you still resemble a sophisticated returnee from abroad, you wretched woman? Su Qinghe trembled with rage. It's all because of you. If not for you, I would have married Changfeng long ago. Marry Changfeng, I sneered. Su Qinghe, do you really think I don't know your true intentions? What's your real motive? You never loved Gu Changfeng, I said, enunciating each word clearly. You were only after the Gu family's power and status. And you're already involved with another man. Su Qinghe turned pale. That's a lie, I sneered. Then who's the man writing to you all the time? Your lover overseas. I made this part up too, but according to my past life memories, Su Qinghe really did have a lover abroad. You, how did you know? Su Qinghe was completely rattled, just as I suspected. 6. I know everything, I continued pressing her, including the real reason you came back to the country, and why you're so determined to marry Gu Changfeng. No, it can't be. Su Qinghe slumped to the ground, muttering to herself. Su Qinghe, the game is over. I looked down at her from above. You've lost. No. Su Qinghe suddenly sprang up from the ground, her eyes wild with madness. I won't lose. I'll kill you. She pulled a small knife from her bag and lunged at me. I had anticipated this move and quickly stepped back, shouting for help at the top of my lungs. Help, someone's trying to kill me. My voice echoed through the empty factory. Just as Su Qinghe was about to catch up to me, several figures suddenly rushed out from behind the ruins. It was Maisie with several police officers. Freeze, drop your weapon, the officer shouted. Seeing the situation turning against her, Su Qinghe tried to flee, But it was too late, the officer swarmed in and subdued her. Lin Wanqiu, you set me up, Su Qinghe kept shouting even after being subdued. This was a deliberate trap, Su Qinghe. You are under arrest for assault with a deadly weapon and attempted murder, the officer said as he handcuffed her. Wanqiu, are you okay? Maisie rushed over and asked with concern. I'm fine, thank you, I said, looking at her gratefully. I told Maisie yesterday that if Su Qinghe agreed to meet, she should call the police immediately. I knew Su Qinghe would be driven to desperate measures, and sure enough, she was. Su Qinghe, the evidence is undeniable. What do you have to say for yourself now? I walked up to her. I won't let you get away with this. Su Qinghe glared at me viciously. Changfeng won't believe you. He loves me. Oh really? I chuckled. We'll see about that. Su Qinghe was taken away by the police, finally bringing this conflict to an end. Next, I still have to face Gu Changfeng, confront the Gu family, and embrace my new life. But no matter what happens, I'm no longer that Lin Wanqiu who let everyone push her around. In this lifetime, I will live for myself, live vibrantly, live with dignity. News of Su Qinghe's arrest quickly spread throughout the entire military compound. Everyone was stunned to discover that this seemingly gentle and kind returnee was actually a ruthless and vicious woman. The truth about the false accusations against my father finally came to light, and his name was cleared. More importantly, everyone came to realize the truth. I, Lin Wanqiu, was the real victim, and Gu Changfeng turned out to be the poor fool who'd been deceived. That very night, Gu Changfeng came to my small courtyard. He looked haggard, his eyes filled with pain and remorse. Wanqiu, I'm sorry. He apologized the moment he saw me. I was wrong. I was truly wrong. Wrong about what? I asked calmly. I shouldn't have trusted Qinghe. Shouldn't have divorced you for her sake, Gu Changfeng said painfully. If I had seen her true colors sooner, I wouldn't have let you suffer so much. What's the use of saying all this now? I said lightly. What's done is done. Wanqiu, let's remarry, Gu Changfeng pleaded. I swear I'll never let anyone hurt you again. I looked at him, my heart completely unmoved. In my past life, hearing this would have moved me to tears, but now I just found it laughable. Gu Changfeng, do you really think we can go back to how we were before? I asked. Yes, we can. We definitely can, he said urgently. If you're willing to forgive me, we can start over. Start over, I sneered. Do you have any idea what I've been through? Someone tried to kill me, someone threatened my family, and you, what were you doing? Gu Changfeng hung his head in shame. I was protecting Qinghe, defending her. That's right, you were protecting the woman who wanted me dead, I said, enunciating every word clearly. Gu Changfeng, do you really think I can ever trust you again? Wanqiu, I know I was wrong, but please give me a chance. Gu Changfeng knelt down. I'm willing to spend the rest of my life making up for my mistakes. Watching Gu Changfeng kneeling on the ground, my heart was filled with mixed emotions. In my past life, I had dreamed of this very moment, hoping he would kneel and apologize to me, but now that I've gotten what I wanted, I don't feel a shred of happiness. Gu Changfeng, get up, I said. Some things, once broken, can never be mended. No, I don't believe it. Gu Changfeng. Story 2. Zhou Xi and I were like a pair of resentful lovers, hurling insults and fists at each other, until he finally declared, whoever refuses to divorce is a dog. On the road to divorce, we cursed each other with the most venomous words, but when a tanker truck came hurtling towards us, he suddenly swerved the steering wheel. Taking the hit on his side, he gave me an extra 0.01 seconds to live. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back in the summer after my junior year of high school. Zhou Xi was holding a bouquet of flowers, asking if I wanted to give it a try. In the next second, his exhausted face lifted with a grim look. The moment our eyes met, I knew he had returned as well. I found a stack of Sun Yan's portraits in Zhou Xi's safe. Heartbroken, I knew he was doomed. Without a word, I rushed up and slapped him twice, scratching his face. At first, he just dodged, but then, in a panic, he pushed me away. What are you on about? Are you sick? I grabbed the portraits and smashed them on his face. I'm sick. You're the sick one, secretly drawing your sister-in-law. Isn't that disgusting? Watching the scattered drafts on the floor, Zhou Xi's eyes reddened. Su Sisi, I've never seen anyone as despicable and venomous as you. You're just jealous of Sun Yan, with ill intentions. But you can't even compare to a fraction of her. Why wasn't it you who died? I've heard this too many times, but each time, it still drove me mad. I grabbed a stool and rushed at him. To hell with you. That day, we ended up at the police station. The officer kindly asked if I had been a victim of domestic abuse. I scoffed. Who do you think you're looking down on? this is mutual assault, understand. Despite my disheveled appearance and the bruises on my face, Zhou Xi was already bleeding from his head. I had won this round, leaving the police station. We pointed at each other's noses. This marriage had to end. Whoever refuses to divorce is a dog. Who would have thought we'd die on the way to getting a divorce? Just a second before the tanker truck hit, I was still cursing him as a perverted voyeur lurking in dark corners. Zhou Xi's face was as black as the bottom of a pot, his teeth clenched. The one I love is Sun Yan, always has been. If you didn't look exactly like her, do you think I would have been with you, Su Cici? You couldn't hold a candle to Sun Yan. I hated my life for always being compared to Sun Yan. Even though she was dead, I still lived in her shadow. Why should I? My hand reached for Zhou Xi's hair. Come on, let's go down together. The next second, a piercing sound rang out as the tanker truck lost control and rushed towards us. My mind went blank. All I saw was Zhou Xi turning pale, fiercely turning the steering wheel, taking the hit on his side. I watched him in a daze, watching this man who had been entangled with me for 10 years. We always had a tumultuous relationship, constant arguing and bickering throughout these 10 years. Why didn't we split up? Some asked him. Others asked me. I remained silent. He just smoked sullenly. No one could explain why. It was just like that year when he, looking listless, held a wilted bouquet of flowers and asked if I wanted to give it a try. How strange. He had just rejected my confession a few days earlier, saying he didn't want to date and preferred to focus on his studies. How could he change his mind so quickly? It wasn't until much later that I learned he had actually intended to confess to Sun Yan, but was turned down. Disheartened and sad, he saw me. A face that looked exactly like Sun Yan's. Subconsciously, he approached me, using me as a substitute, reliving his memories of Sun Yan through me. For 10 years, he truly deserves to die. He should just die. Who needed him to sacrifice his life for mine, just so I could live 0.01 seconds longer? Bad luck. Forget it. Debts are cleared with death. All past grudges and grievances have now dissipated into thin air. I just hope that in my next life when I open my eyes, damn. As soon as I opened my eyes, I saw 17-year-old Zhou Xi again. Why am I sure he was 17? Because he was holding a bunch of wilted blue little flying swallows with that dead fish expression on his face. I don't like little flying swallows. I like roses, red roses, passionate, romantic, and flamboyant. Zhou Xi looked at me with disdain, saying I was unbearably tacky. He asked if I knew what the little flying swallows symbolized. Don't you think their shape resembles little swallows fluttering lightly? They symbolize freedom, unbounded. Don't you think that's beautiful? I didn't think so. All I knew was that roses represented love. Lovers always give each other roses. Yet, until I was hit and killed by a tanker truck, I never received a single rose. Reborn to this moment. Great, even more unlucky. And the most unlucky thing was, Zhou Xi looked up, the moment our eyes met. We both saw a familiar look in each other's eyes. Almost without thinking, I knew he had returned too. This year's summer was particularly hot, soon to be a senior. Some were bustling to tutoring classes, others studying one-on-one at home. Only I, carefree and reckless, would leave the house before dawn and reluctantly head home at dinner time. Today was no different, kicking pebbles along the way. My resentment was palpable from meters away. Seeing Zhou Xi made me nervous. I liked him. He was the first person I liked as my feelings began to blossom, bittersweet and wonderful. Yet, he rejected my confession, with a distant smile on his face. He said he was only focused on studying at this stage and didn't want to date. I felt embarrassed, annoyed, and sad, nearly crying as I ran away, swearing never to like him again. But when he slowly walked towards me, I couldn't help but stand there, my heart pounding. He said, "Want to give it a try?" without much thought. I nodded again and again. This undignified, baseline, and unprincipled behavior of a love-struck fool would be the great shame of my life hereafter. Given another chance, I would unhesitatingly sneer at him and silently give him the middle finger. Zhou Xi licked his molars, threw the flowers in the trash, and walked away. 10 minutes later, at my front door, we met again. Shenfang, full of suspicion and wariness, guarded the door, staring at Zhou Xi. "Who are you looking for, Zhou Xi?" Unusually flustered and even cautious, didn't know how to respond. "Auntie, I'm looking for Sun Yan. Could you let me see her? I have something to tell her." "What do you want with Sun Yan? Who are you?" Shenfang's hostility was palpable. Her eyes widened menacingly as she glared. Zhou Xi was taken aback, hesitating to speak further. I clicked my tongue in irritation. "Didn't I tell you I don't like you? Why are you still coming to my house? You think seeking out Sun Yan will help you?" Don't you know she's the one I despise the most? Come with me." Facing Shenfeng's suspicious gaze, I dragged Zhou Ci down the stairs. Zhou Ci's face was somber, and he suddenly shrugged me off. "I know you've come back too. I don't want to dwell on past grievances. If you think I've wronged you, then I apologize. But Su Cici, you should realize, being brought back to this point in time is an opportunity given to us by fate. I will protect Sun Yan no matter what. No one can take her away from me, not even herself. I don't expect your help, but don't interfere, or I won't let you off." Expressionless, I listened to Zhou Ci's heartfelt words and warnings. After he finished, under his fiery gaze, I let out a cold laugh. "Who do you think you are, idiot? Everyone loves Sun Yan. She's outstanding, kind, and beautiful. At school, she consistently topped her class and was a prime candidate for the top university entrance exam scholarships. She excelled in various competitions, was talented in music, dance, and the arts, yet, despite her talents, she never acted superior. She was always gentle and smiling towards teachers and classmates. At home, she was the pride and hope of her parents and the family, universally praised by everyone. She never disobeyed her elders, always agreeable and sweet-natured, nodding obediently to any high expectations set for her. Yet, it was this same girl who, in the year she aced the college entrance exams, when her parents were hosting a grand celebration amidst everyone's envy and jealousy, climbed to the rooftop and jumped, ending her life. No one knew why she committed suicide, not even me, but as years passed and memories replayed, I began to see the flaws beneath the perfection. Having parted from Zhou Ci on bad terms, I slowly made my way home. Just as I opened the door, I saw Shenfeng handing a glass of milk to Sun Yan. Her gaze was tender as she gently stroked Sun Yan's long hair. "Mom will take you to teacher by soon. She said you're improving quickly, but don't get complacent. You must keep working hard. By the way, do you really not know that boy from earlier? Give me your phone, let me check." "Nian Nian, this is a critical time. You mustn't end up like Su Cici, getting mixed up with those shady boys. Su Cici has already ruined herself. I only have you left. You must make us proud, now. Hurry up and drink your milk while it's warm." Shenfeng had noticed my presence long ago, yet, she didn't care much, even rolling her eyes at me disdainfully. I thought to myself quietly, as a daughter who's considered a failure, I couldn't just bear this infamy for nothing, so I stepped forward, snatched the glass from Nian's hand, and smashed it on the ground with a crash. "Su Cici, what are you trying to do?" Shenfeng yelled hysterically. I raised my eyebrows. "From now on, if I can't have this milk, neither can Sun Yan. Did I ever drink milk when I was very young? I can't remember. Since I can remember, I've never touched the good things at home, those fine foods and well-balanced meals. Whenever my chopsticks nearly touched them, Shenfeng would slap my hand away. "What are you eating? This is prepared for Nian Nian. It's a waste to give it to you. Might as well feed it to a dog. At least a dog can guard the house. What can you do?" Initially, I would cry and make a fuss about it, but instead of getting what I wanted, I only got a beating. Shenfeng never held back when hitting me. She would lift her hand high and strike down hard, causing a loud smack, and my face would turn away from the force, half of my face and head going numb. "Su Cici, are you rebelling against the heavens? You still want to drink milk? Have you thought about whether your grades even deserve it? Comparing yourself to Nian Nian, have you even looked at yourself? Get out of this house. You're not welcome here." Saying this, she picked up a whip from the table to hit me. This time, I didn't just take it, I ran, knocking down tables, chairs, and vases while I did. The house filled with the sound of crashing, becoming more and more chaotic. Shenfeng screamed and chased after me. No matter how chaotic or noisy it got, Sun Yan just sat there quietly watching, not helping anyone or stopping anything, even indifferently picking up a book from the table to read. That was until I snatched her cell phone. Finally, she looked up at me. Her indifferent gaze showed a moment of confusion, then stiffness, stiffly watching as I took the cell phone and rushed into her room, slamming the door shut. The first thing I wanted to do was lock the door. But the lock was broken and couldn't be locked. I could only lean against it with my back. Outside, Shenfeng's kicks and curses could be heard. A twisted yet exhilarated smile appeared on my face as I took out the phone and dialed, crying out, "Hello, is this 110? My mom is trying to kill me. Please come quickly, save me." Shenfeng was taken away, after she continuously resisted, scratched a police officer's neck, and threatened to kill me. She faced 24 hours of detention. The police looked at me with pity, asking if I needed help contacting other relatives. He tactfully told me that their capabilities were limited, and if I insisted on having Shenfeng detained, I would face an even more embarrassing situation once she was released. I nodded repeatedly and expressed my thanks, but I insisted on her detention. Regardless, at least I can get a good night's sleep. The policeman's gaze grew more sympathetic. He then pointed at Sun Yan. Is that your sister or your little sister? Is she alright? Compared to my pitiful appearance, the always expressionless and detached Sun Yan seemed even more worrying. I gave a bitter smile, tapping her forehead. She said in a voice loud enough for Sun Yan to hear, "That one, her mind's a bit off." Silly really. Sun Yan froze, her jaws clenched tight. Out of humanitarian concern, the police contacted our father, the man who spent his years away, tirelessly making money, only returning home during festivals or when Sun Yan achieved something significant. He politely apologized to the police, assuring them he would return as soon as possible and manage his wife's behavior, but I knew he wouldn't be back for at least a couple of days. After the police left, I yawned. Sun Yan looked at me, her expression unreadable. Stretching lazily, I walked into Sun Yan's bedroom and, without invitation, lay down on her bed. About 5 minutes later, footsteps approached. Opening my eyes, I saw Sun Yan standing by the bed, her face stern. "This is my room." "Oh, please leave." "What if I don't?" "This is my room." Is that all she could say? Not every essay can be a model script, can it? "Oh, you must really treasure this bed, love it especially." Sun Yan didn't reply, her lips pressed tightly together, her gaze at me deepening. "Since you don't like it, lend it to me for the night. It's my first time sleeping on such a soft bed with such fluffy blankets. Feel free to leave, just remember to close the door behind you." I closed my eyes, ignoring her. I don't know how much time passed before she finally left, indeed closing the door, albeit not gently. So she does have emotions. I thought she was above worldly concerns. Turning over, I buried myself in the blankets. Despite what I said to Sun Yan, I wasn't trying to squeeze her out. In this 3-bedroom apartment, there was no room for me. Initially, there was one, the smallest, darkest study. But then Sun Yan started playing the piano, and to accommodate a piano worth tens of thousands, Shenfeng cleared out my room and installed a retractable door on the balcony. That space was too small, not even big enough for a single bed. Shenfeng bought a foldable bed instead. Su Guiyong disapproved. "This is hardly proper. How can CC live like this?" Shenfeng didn't care. "What can we do? We only have so much space." Teacher Bai said Nian Nian is exceptionally talented at the piano, that she could be a master. For Nian Nian's sake, we all have to make sacrifices. If she was as capable as Nian Nian, I'd care just as much about her too. After hearing this, Su Guiyong was silent for a long time before he finally sighed and said nothing more. From then on, I lived in the cramped balcony, and that's where I stayed for nearly 10 years. I resented Shenfeng, Su Guiyong, most of all, I resented Sun Yan. She accepted everything as her due, never once speaking up against Shenfeng's harsh treatment, neglect, and abuse towards me. I looked to her countless times, hopeful, only to be disappointed. It even seemed to me that her gaze was cold, condescending, pleased. She hated me, just as I hated her. But what right did she have to hate me? That night, I slept fitfully, haunted by countless dreams featuring Shenfeng and Su Guiyong. But it was mostly about Sun Yan and Zhou Xi. Sun Yan, who fell from the building, his brain crushed, his face unrecognizable. Everyone was screaming, breaking down. They shook my shoulders one by one, demanding, "Why wasn't it you who died?" Those hideous faces gradually became clear. It was Josie's face. He gripped my neck, his teeth clenched. "Why wasn't it you who died?" I woke up from the dream, drenched in sweat. Upon opening the door, I saw Zhou Xi standing at the entrance, facing Sun Yan, his face flushed, looking like a bashful teenager struck by infatuation. Sun Yan, good morning. Have you had breakfast? I bought some. Would you like to try?" He lifted his hand as if presenting a treasure. It was more than just some. Sun Yan held the door, not letting him in. His voice was gentle yet distant. "No, thank you. What brings you to my place?" Zhou Xi stiffened, his gaze drifting, then settling on me. I came for Su Cici." Zhou Xi seemed disappointed, silent and sullen all the way. Even as I took breakfast from his hand, he seemed indifferent. After eating a bowl of wontons and drinking a cup of soy milk, he casually handed me a beef bun. "Chen's beef buns. You always said you wanted to eat them. I got them while they were still open. Eat them while you can." I stopped in my tracks. Chen's beef buns, thin-skinned and generously filled, greasy and slightly spicy, had been my favorite breakfast throughout high school, perfect with a cup of freshly ground soy milk. I had indeed mentioned many times how much I missed this breakfast, but Zhou Xi had never responded to this topic. It wasn't that he hadn't heard, nor that he didn't care, he just didn't want to engage with me. Thinking this, I kicked Zhou Ci in the shin. Zhou Ci gasped in pain. Are you crazy, going nuts again? You don't want to deal with me, well, I don't want to deal with you either, goodbye, never see you again, he yelled furiously at my retreating figure. 2 hours later, at a dessert house, our eyes met. Why are you here? Welcome. His face showed confusion, mine a forced smile. The dessert shop, named a family dessert house, was run by Zhou Ci's cousin. At that moment, he was questioning his cousin. Did you hire her? Don't you know the law? She's underage, his cousin chuckled. If you don't tell, and I don't tell, who would know she's underage? Zhou Ci glared, then turned to question me. Why did you come here to work? Did you think this naive sister was easy to fool? Why are you looking for a job? Need money? I smirked. Word by word, none of your business. Throughout the afternoon, I greeted and served customers, while Zhou Ci sat in a corner, puffed up like an angry blowfish. By the time I looked again, he was already sleeping with his head tilted back and his mouth open. My cousin nudged me with her elbow. Does my little brother have a crush on you? Are you two an item? I cleared the table expressionlessly. He likes my sister. Huh, my twin sister, who looks exactly like me. Yikes, some kind of stand-in drama. Is he that bad? Heh, wait for me. I'm going to beat him up. Good news number 1. Zhou Ci was chased around and scurried out of the dessert shop after being beaten by his sister. Good news number 2. I got the part-time job after the trial period, earning 10 yuan per hour with double pay on holidays, paid monthly. Coming out of the dessert shop, Zhou Ci was still squatting at the corner. He stood up when he saw me. Spit it out if you have something to say. Can't you speak nicely? I'm leaving if you don't. What did you tell my sister? Why did she hit me? I rolled my eyes, completely uninterested in entertaining him, yet Zhou Ci grabbed me. Su Cici, have you always been living on the balcony? Why, your family clearly has a 3-bedroom home, so why stay on the balcony? Did you buy that big house and order a 3-meter wide bed because of this? And why do you sleep in the study every time I'm not home? And what? Is this never going to end? I shook him off impatiently. We're no longer anything to each other. There's no relationship now, and there won't be in the future. Mind your own business, don't pry into my affairs. What does he have to do with me? Anyway, yes, you always want what you lack. I bought that big house and ordered a 3-meter wide bed because I never had it, but that big house, that big bed, made me scared. It was so empty, it was unsettling, only nesting in a cluttered study, lying on a narrow sofa bed. Could I feel safe? How ironic, how sad. I thought I could make up for my childhood deficiencies by growing up, but it turned out to be the poverty of my life. Upon being released from detention, Shenfang immediately called the tutors from various cram schools to make up for the lessons Sun Yan missed. Then she rushed into the kitchen to cook a nutritious meal for her precious darling. At first, she glared at me, wanting to hit me. I waved my phone. Dare to hit me? And I'll call the police. Shenfang was so angry she was gasping. Give Nian Nian her phone back. No, either buy her a new one, or she won't use one anymore. Her face flushed with anger. Shenfang then spent a good deal of time checking on Sun Yan, asking if I had mistreated her in the last 24 hours. Sun Yan, listless, just shook her head, saying nothing. This only confirmed Shenfang's suspicions that I had been up to no good, but she hesitated to actually hit me. She could only clutch at her chest. What a sin. Why did I have to give birth to such a troublemaker? You're ignorant and still bully Nian Nian. I should have strangled you at birth. Why didn't I strangle you? Unable to vent her anger, she ultimately chose to ignore me, as if I didn't exist. There was no food for me at home, not even the water wasn't taken to Sun Yan's room. I just shrugged and went to the balcony. I ate a few slices of toast and a sandwich by the light of the window outside, savoring the deliciousness. From that day on, Shenfang completely excluded me. If it weren't for fear of what others might say, I probably wouldn't even be able to enter this house, but I didn't mind at all. I went to work early each day and only returned at nightfall. When I was hungry, I ate bread. When I was thirsty, I drank mineral water. The only annoyance was Zhou Ci, who always seemed to linger around. That day, a heavy rain began to fall. It felt stuffy at first, but then a gust of wind brought a chill, leaving the store. I shrugged my neck and hesitated about which way to go. Zhou Ci handed me an umbrella. Here, take it. I pretended not to see it and even moved a bit to the side. He clicked his tongue in irritation. What are you trying to prove? Are you not planning to go home, or do you want to run back in the rain? His face was full of frustration, and I looked up and glared at him. What do you really want? Zhou Ci tightened his grip on the umbrella. I want to ask you something. Why did Sun Yan jump off the building? Su Cece, aren't you worried at all? She's your sister, your blood, born of the same mother. She could jump off a building, commit suicide, die. Don't you want to change that? To save her, you should be by her side, protecting and caring for her, not here making money. Zhou Ci spoke with a forceful and passionate tone, so righteous, so heartfelt. My initial defiance slowly faded, and I even chuckled softly at him. He stiffened, somewhat bewildered, puzzled, and hesitant to speak, but I didn't give him another chance to speak, and turned and ran into the rain. The rain was heavy, hitting me hard, it made it hard to see, and my clothes were instantly soaked, but I didn't stop, running all the way home. My clothes clung to my body, dripping water, extremely uncomfortable. I knocked on the door, but no one answered. I knocked harder, still no response, exhaling deeply. I sat down exhausted against the door, my body felt chilly and weak, touching my forehead, it felt feverish. It seems troubles never come singly. I must have caught a fever. Shen Fang wouldn't open the door for me, Sun Yan wouldn't care about me, I didn't even have the right to a key to this house. I guess I must be the most miserable and useless reincarnated person. Leaning against the door, I dozed off in a daze. I don't know how much time passed, but suddenly the door opened. In the light from the hallway, I saw Sun Yan, in a nightgown with her long hair loose, standing there. I pushed past her into the house. I couldn't help but let out a sneer. Never thought I'd see the day you'd open the door for me. I thought you would rather have me die outside. Sun Yan didn't speak, just closed the door and crouched down, wiping the water off the floor with a towel. Her action was different from Shen Fang's indifference. Sun Yan truly didn't care, didn't pay attention, didn't mind at all. It was as if I were a stranger to her, or perhaps invisible. She couldn't see me, nor did she want to, so why did she turn to me for help? Sun Yan, have you ever, even once, wanted to stand up for me? In this family, you are adored and receive all the benefits, yet you've never spoken a word for me. Do you take pleasure in seeing me trampled underfoot, watching me mistreated and abused? While you live like a little princess, are you happy about that? Do you really hate me that much? Sun Yan remained silent, but her actions paused. I waited, seconds and minutes passed, the light in my eyes slowly faded, and I almost turned to leave when suddenly, Sun Yan stood up, the towel dropped to the floor, her arms were so tense they trembled, suppressing her voice, she almost growled, yes, I hate you, I utterly despise you, Su Cece, you are worthless. When does your memory begin? At 6 years old, 8, 10, I remember from the age of 2. When you were still playing with building blocks and dolls, I could recite the 3-character classic in full. Mom was so happy, she called Dad to let me recite it to him over the phone. She urged Dad to come home quickly, saying she wanted to take me to the hospital for an IQ test. 120, that was my test result, higher intelligence, relatively outstanding among others, but that's all. But Mom wouldn't listen. She thought she had birthed a genius. A genius needs a particular way of nurturing and educational investment. She dreamed of a bright future. I said I wanted candy. She said no, geniuses shouldn't eat candy, but Dad still bought me 2. I ate the lychee-flavored one and left the strawberry for you. That was the last lollipop I ever ate. Su Cece, how can you live so carefree and unbounded? I begged you, don't go out to play, study and read with me. Keep me company, but you couldn't sit still, couldn't learn. You're just worthless, you're nothing but a waste, ignored and abandoned by Mom. But I am a genius. If I turned from a genius into nothing, I would die. She would kill me. A flash of lightning tore through the night, revealing Sun Yan's eyes, red and swollen with desperation, helplessness, and fear. Then a thunderclap exploded nearby. I couldn't help but shiver, a bone-chilling cold spreading from my fingertips throughout my body. What are you talking about? Who would kill you? Shen Fang, Sun Yan swayed, raising her hand to wipe away her tears. You don't understand, you know nothing. Have you ever been in a room that can't be locked, where someone can silently stand behind you at any moment? She can't understand the content of the books, but she would suddenly speak up, criticizing you for being too close to the book, for your sitting posture, for letting your mind wander. You can't relax for even a second, those eyes follow you like a shadow. Like a festering sore clinging to the bone. Have you ever tried sleeping while someone watches you? Open your eyes, and there's someone standing right in front of your bed. They might wipe your sweat, cover you with a blanket, hold your hand, or do nothing at all. Just quietly watch you. You are my everything. I only have you. You must strive. You cannot slack off. You cannot fall behind. You must be first. Be the best one. My child should be the best. Only if you do your best will Dad come back. He won't abandon us. Or else what will we do? I can only take you with me in death. All these words seemed to have exhausted all of Sun Yan's strength. She leaned on the sofa, and it took her a long time to stand up again. Her voice regained its calm. Mom took sleeping pills. She won't wake up tonight. You came in on your own. It has nothing to do with me. Her steps were unsteady as she floated back to her own room like a lost soul. I relaxed. Collapsing into the chair, there are some things I no longer want to ask about, including the words under the bed. Sun Yan's suicide remains a mystery. She left neither a word nor a note. Shenfang nearly tore the house apart, seeking the truth behind Sun Yan's suicide. It wasn't until someone lifted the bedboard that everyone froze in place. The crookedly engraved words, like a pair of large hands, choked everyone present. Save me, save me, save me, Su Sisi, save me. Why did Sun Yan need saving? Why was my name there? Shenfang grabbed my neck, screaming, what did you do to Nian Nian? Did you cause her death? Su Sisi, why don't you die? Why wasn't it you who died? I don't understand either. Why, was Sun Yan asking me to save her? Or was it because of me that she needed saving? At that moment, Shenfang's hatred towards me left me numb. I was deeply perplexed. Sun Yan, what exactly are you trying to tell me? That night, I took over her room. After she closed the door, I crawled under the bed. It was spotless, cleaner than the floor outside. Turning on the light on my phone, I shone it on the bedboard. The dense, jumbled words had taken up half the space. I trembled as I touched my name. So, Sun Yan, were you asking me to save you? Shenfang glared at me. How did you get in? I nonchalantly sipped my porridge. Locking me out last night was the first and last time. Otherwise, what will you do? Shenfang sneered. This is my house. You can only enter if I let you. If I don't let you in, Su Sisi, what are you doing? She screamed, wanting to come forward but daring not to. I pulled Sun Yan's hair, pressing scissors against her scalp. She didn't move, except for a muffled groan of pain at the beginning. She said nothing. Shenfang shook all over, both angry and anxious. Let go of Nian Nian. What on earth do you want to do? I raised an eyebrow. Don't move, otherwise. I wouldn't know if it was her hair or her neck that I was cutting with these scissors, I declared. Shenfang gasped in shock. Su Sisi, oh, with a snap, I chopped off a large chunk of Sun Yan's waist-length hair. Shenfang cried out in pain as if I had cut into her flesh. Her scream pleased me, and without any pattern or beauty, I waved the scissors, each cut fierce and deliberate. Locks of hair fell to the floor in disarray. Shenfang's cries echoed in my ears. At this moment, Sun Yan looked a complete mess, her hair uneven and jagged, with stray strands everywhere, yet, she kept her eyes downcast, as if all of this had nothing to do with her. Finally, I threw down the scissors. The next second, Shenfang, screaming, charged at me and pushed me out. She trembled as she cradled Sun Yan's face, looking at her as if her precious treasure had been ruined. She yelled again and grabbed a stool nearby. I turned and ran out, but just as I was nearing the door, the flying stool hit me in the back. The pain made me gasp, but I didn't stop. I ran down the stairs as fast as I could. I ran into Zhou Xi, who was coming up. What happened to you? Why are you so pale? Are you hurt? What was that noise upstairs? Did you fight with your mom? Get lost. Zhou Xi grabbed me, looking displeased. Why are you always like this? Su Sisi, can't you speak nicely? You're like a rock in a latrine, both stinky and hard. Can't you change your temper? No matter what, that's your mom, you. I took a deep breath and shook him off. It's early in the morning, don't make me slap you. Su Sisi, Zhou Xi. I looked at him coldly. Little lord raised in a honey jar, stay away from me, from our house, and from Sun Yan. Zhou Xi's lips pressed into a straight line, his face darkening. I can't do that, Su Sisi. I won't give up on Sun Yan no matter what. I will protect her, and not let her be harmed. Ha, I scoffed, my laugh full of sarcasm. Protect her? Who are you? Does she even remember who you are? Trying to be a hero without a clue. Idiot. Days passed neither too fast nor too slow. I had completely broken ties with that family. With me around, the atmosphere at home would drop to freezing. Like an ice cellar, Shenfang took Sun Yan to get her hair styled. Now, she looked like a tomboy. She became even colder towards me, not even sparing me a glance. I still left early and returned late every day, busy with my own life. The only nuisance was Zhou Xi. After disappearing for 3 or 4 days, he started showing up at the dessert shop every day, staying all day long. We didn't talk at all, but I noticed he often stared at me, lost in thought. Soon, most of the summer vacation had passed, and I received my first paycheck. Meanwhile, the day I had been waiting for arrived. Tomorrow, Sun Yan was going to participate in a citywide music concert. which would be broadcast live, on such an important occasion. Our extremely busy father absolutely needed to be there. Shenfeng's nervousness was palpable. She stayed with Sun Yan, making her play her piece over and over again, while telling her not to be nervous. She kept repeating, "You must perform well, you cannot make any mistakes. Absolutely no errors." To this, I could only scoff coldly. Shenfeng glared at me furiously. In the morning, before dawn had even broken, Sun Yan was already up and playing again by Shenfeng's calling. I buried myself in my blanket, irritated, and fell back into a restless sleep. By the time I woke up again, they were already gone. The dessert shop was bustling today. After a busy spell, my cousin shot me a knowing look. "Where's my silly brother today? Why didn't he come?" "I don't know. Perhaps he went to cultivate his taste," I replied. "What's that supposed to mean?" I just smiled and offered no explanation. When I got home in the evening, Shenfeng was jubilantly dancing around, repeatedly saying how proud Sun Yan made her. It seemed the performance went perfectly, yet, Su Guiyong was nowhere to be seen. "Hey, where's our old man? Has he not come home thrice?" Shenfeng's face froze, clearly stunned by my words. "What do you know? Your dad is very busy. Where do you think all this food and drink comes from? Do you think earning money is easy? Is that so? I thought he was busy entertaining his mistress. What nonsense are you spouting?" "Fine," I shrugged. "Let's just say I'm talking nonsense." Shenfeng blocked my way with a grim face. "Do you know something?" I teased her patience with a half-smile. Seeing her on the verge of exploding, I slowly spoke up. "At the Juanhao Hotel, I saw him entering with a woman." Shenfeng looked as if struck by lightning, her face contorting like a demon's. She grabbed her bag from the table and stormed out without looking back. Compared to Shenfeng, I despised Su Guiyong even more. As a child, I depended on him. He wasn't as biased or harsh as Shenfeng. He always disapproved of Shenfeng's behavior. "Both the palm and the back of the hand are flesh. How can you act like this?" So, I confided all my sadness and grievances to him. I said, "If mom and dad were to divorce, I'd want to stay with dad." Su Guiyong, both pained and relieved, rubbed my head gently, but that night, during an argument with Shenfeng, he blurted out, "Cici even hopes we divorce. She doesn't want to stay with you. See how much of a failure you are as a mother." Su Guiyong grabbed his luggage and left. Shenfeng looked at me menacingly, dragged me by my hair from the living room to the kitchen, and made me kneel there all night. I cried and called Su Guiyong, begging him to come back. Saying I was scared, he scolded Shenfeng over the phone and comforted me, but he never came back. Is this love? Shenfeng bluntly told me she didn't love me. Su Guiyong told me he loved me. He felt for me, but he did nothing, only to end by telling me he loved me. But he was helpless. Sun Yan removed the wig from her head, slowly stood up, and prepared to go back to her room. "Let me take off my makeup," she said. "Change your clothes and come with me," I said. Sun Yan stopped in her tracks but made no further move. "I'll wait only 10 minutes. When the time's up, I'm leaving." "Where are you taking me?" "I'm selling you." Sun Yan paused, momentarily stunned. She stared at me blankly, which inexplicably pleased me. I tapped on the table. "Hurry up." Startled, Sun Yan turned and hurried toward the bedroom, her steps quickening. She even stumbled near the door. After 8.5 minutes, Sun Yan emerged from the bedroom. She wore a plain white dress, her cheeks unusually flushed, slightly out of breath. Clearly, she had rushed. I lifted my chin and led the way out. Sun Yan followed closely behind. Whenever I looked back, she was always a meter away. Our first stop was a sweet house. My cousin's eyes widened. "She really does look just like you, but it's easy to tell you two apart. Your sister is gentle, and you're lively." I smiled. "We are different individuals. Naturally easy to recognize." I picked up a piece of cake and a cup of coffee, placing them in front of Sun Yan. "The shop's most popular matcha cake and a cappuccino. Try them." Sun Yan blinked and politely took the spoon. "I'm working part-time here. The time I'm not at home, I'm here. The boss is nice, and the colleagues are friendly, but there's a lot to learn. This cappuccino took me half a day to learn how to make the latte art. You could probably learn it in an hour. Recently, I've also been learning to make cakes with the master. It's quite interesting." Sun Yan quietly listened as she ate the cake in small bites. I took the half-eaten cake away. "Save some room. We'll eat something else in a bit. Is there anything you'd like to eat?" Sun Yan thought for a moment. "Street food, so." I took her to the university town, a whole street of food stalls. From one end of the street to the other and back again, took us an hour and a half. Sun Yan looked a bit pale. "Stomachache. Let's not eat any more. Come on, I'll take you to the next place." After a 20-minute bus ride, we got off. Seeing the familiar building, Sun Yan looked puzzled. I didn't explain but led her to a small low-rise building nearby. On the second floor, the third room on the left, I unlocked the door. The space is small, just a bed, a wash basin, and a bathroom, the desk and chairs over there. I bought those myself, no choice. The rental houses near our school are expensive, and this is the cheapest. I rented it using Sister Zhou's identity. She paid for a year, and I reimburse her monthly. I handed the key to Sun Yan. This door can be locked from the inside, and this is the only key. If someone knocks, you can choose to open it or not. Do you want to stay here tonight? Sun Yan gripped the key tightly in her hand, her fingertips turning white. A minute passed, and without waiting for her answer, I left the rental room. Outside the door, I crouched for a long while until I heard the sound of the door being locked from the inside. With a barely noticeable smile, I slowly stood up and walked down the stairs. Shenfeng was never easy to get along with. She was stubborn to the point of being paranoid, with a strong desire to control everything. Anything out of her control could drive her mad. The one who could most trigger her emotions was Su Guiyong. Su Guiyong wouldn't answer her calls, wouldn't take her out, and wouldn't come home. Do you know how busy I am? Do you realize how hard it is to provide for a family? Why don't I take care of the kids and you earn the money? Shenfeng was like a paper tiger, prone to tantrums and unreasonable behavior, but with Su Guiyong, she always backed down, as long as he came home. It was enough. As long as they didn't divorce, it was enough. Was she completely unaware of Su Guiyong's affairs outside? Impossible. She just chose to turn a blind eye, deceiving herself. Now that I had exposed it, Shenfeng was bound to go insane. She stormed into the hotel and attacked the other woman. Enraged, Su Guiyong kicked Shenfeng out. What he didn't expect was that someone reported the hotel for illegal activities, drawing both the police and the trailing reporters. The entire scene was captured on camera. Those who needed to go to the hospital went, and those who needed to go to the police station went. It was another eventful night. The next day, when I stood in front of Sun Yan, her expression changed from confusion to shock, then to understanding, and finally, it turned pale. Su Cece, what are you trying to do? In the reflection of the window, I saw myself with a short haircut identical to hers, styled from a photo I showed to the hairstylist. I was also wearing a white dress, taken from her wardrobe, with an expression as cold and detached as hers. Who could tell which one was Sun Yan and which one was Su Cece? I looked at her seriously. Let's play a game. From today, you are Su Cece, and I am Sun Yan. You run away, and I settle the scores. Su Guiyong wouldn't admit to his infidelity. He merely said that the woman was his subordinate, and they were alone together to discuss work. It was Shenfeng who was paranoid and distrustful. If we don't even have basic trust, then let's just get a divorce. Upon hearing this, Shenfeng immediately deflated. She accepted Su Guiyong's explanation and swallowed her grievances. In the living room, Su Guiyong was losing his patience. Alright, I brought you back. There are things to attend to at the factory. I must leave immediately. Aren't you eating at home? Su Guiyong, do you even care about this home anymore? I'm busy all day, and I hardly see you. When you finally come back, you leave before your seat even gets warm. Enough already. Do you know how much I lost because of this fuss? What am I supposed to do if I don't go back? Should I just lose the clients and the money? How are we supposed to live? Shenfeng closed her mouth, holding her breath. She could neither swallow nor spit it out. Su Guiyong glanced at her with disgust, but turned to me with a warm and gentle look. Nian Nian, you should study hard at home and listen to your mother. Whatever you want, just tell Dad, and I'll buy it for you. By the way, where is Cece? Why haven't I seen her for so long? Shenfeng, did you scold or beat Cece again? You always say both your children are your flesh and blood, but how can you be so biased? The mention of that name almost made Shenfeng faint. I slowly began to speak. Su Cece has been driven away by me. Shenfeng and Su Guiyong both turned to look at me, and the room fell silent. So quiet you could hear a pin drop. Nian Nian. What are you talking about? What do you mean Cece has been driven away by you? Did Su Cece bully you again? This is such a misfortune for our family, such a misfortune. I kept a calm expression and spoke evenly. Su Cece was severely affecting my studies, making it impossible for me to concentrate, so I asked her not to come back until after the college entrance exams. Su Guiyong's face was full of disapproval and condemnation. Nian Nian, Cece is your sister after all. Although she can be quite troublesome, turning her away like this is wrong. What nonsense are you talking about? Do you even know what Su Cece has turned into now? Look at Nian Nian's hair. It was Cece who cut it, and she even called the police to arrest me. It's good that she's gone. I've wanted to drive her out for a long time. Don't you have any sense of being a mother? our home is never peaceful, and it's all because of you. And do you act like a father should? You're just being unreasonable. I don't want to talk about this anymore. As they started arguing again, I stood up to break the deadlock. I think the most important thing at this stage is the college entrance exam. To make a good impact on the exams, everyone in our family should compromise and make concessions. Since Su Cece is also a member of this family, what does it matter if she makes some sacrifices? Shenfeng's eyes lit up. Nodding in agreement, Su Guiyong hesitated. Fine, fine. Do whatever you want, I don't care anymore. Dad, you are the pillar of our family, how can you not care? I actually need a favor from you. Dad, can you give me 50,000 yuan? Su Guiyong's eyes widened. Nian Nian, what do you need 50,000 yuan for? This is for the next year's living expenses, tuition, and accommodation fees for Su Cece. I promised her this, and she assured she won't spread rumors and will tell everyone she moved out voluntarily. 50,000 yuan isn't a lot, but it's enough for a student to live comfortably for a year and even save some for college. 50,000 yuan is not a small amount either. And even though Su Guiyong could easily spend that amount on a handbag for someone else, he is reluctant to spend it for his own family. We are all family, why bring money into this? Cece is being unreasonable. Shenfeng also felt it was too much. Why should we give her whatever she asks for? This is outrageous. I remained silent. They vented their emotions freely. At last, she lightly said, when I become the top scorer in the college entrance exam, there will definitely be media interviews. I really hope there won't be any idle gossip by then. For a moment, they all fell silent. Su Guiyong reluctantly accepted the 50,000 yuan, while Shenfeng felt as though she was biting off a piece of her own flesh in pain. When I delivered the money to Sun Yan, she was standing at the counter, wearing my clothes and a wig. Zhou Xi was beside her, slowly operating the coffee machine, glancing at her after each step he completed. When Sun Yan nodded obediently, Zhou Xi's lips curled into a satisfied smile. I watched this scene for a long time before turning away without hesitation. Zhou Xi caught up with me when I reached the bus station. Su Cece, he called out, panting. I knew at first glance that wasn't you. Did Sun Yan's suicide have something to do with your parents? Is this your solution? To replace her? Su Cece, what are you trying to do? Zhou Xi, like in a past life. I tidied his messy hair from running. Zhou Xi froze. His eyes filled with emotions I couldn't understand. Su Cece, don't mess around. I chuckled lightly. Are you afraid I'll commit suicide? Do you think I'm the type to do that? Zhou Xi shook his head. You wouldn't. Even if you were to commit suicide, you'd take someone down with you. He knows me well. Indeed. So, mind your own business. If you really want to help, just do like today, helping Sun Yan check and fill the gaps. That's enough. Zhou Xi, you can't be a savior to anyone. Only she can save herself. When I got home, Shenfeng had already prepared dinner, the usual stewed beef, scrambled eggs, vegetables, rice, and a glass of milk. Nian Nian, drink the milk first. While it's warm, I picked up the milk and, in front of Shenfeng, poured it all into the sink. Sun Yan, what are you doing? I won't be drinking this milk anymore. Why, you know this is to supplement your nutrition. I've never had it myself. I've always saved it just for you. How could you pour it away? Do you really not know I'm lactose intolerant? I had asked Sun Yan the same question before. She was silent for a long time, then nodded, acknowledging she knew. When she was little, she didn't drink milk often, only occasionally Shenfeng would give her some, and when she ended up vomiting and having diarrhea, Shenfeng would excitedly call Su Guiyong, telling him Sun Yan was sick, urging him to come back quickly. If Sun Yan refused to drink, she would stare at her. Don't you want Dad to come back to see you? Shenfeng's face turned ugly. Lactose intolerance. How come I didn't know about this? Nian Nian, don't listen to others talking nonsense. They're just trying to make money by fooling you into buying supplements. Mom is doing this for your own good. Look, you've been drinking it for so many years without any problems. Could your mother possibly harm you? I stepped back, looking at her disappointedly. I study so hard and ask nothing of you, only hoping you could provide good support, a balanced diet, healthy food pairing. Can't you manage even this simple thing? Forget it. I think I'll just ask Dad to hire a nanny for me, I said, disbelief evident on Shenfeng's face. Who have I been working so hard for? She exclaimed. You want to hire a nanny? Sun Yan, do you even have a conscience? She questioned, as I looked on, puzzled. But you really aren't doing a good job. Can't I even say that? Mom, you have to admit your mistakes, only then can you correct them. In a fit of rage, Shenfeng made a move to slap me, but I tripped her, standing over her. Expressionless, I looked down and said, "Mom, acting like this, you really seem like a shrew." At 3 a.m., my alarm woke me up. I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and entered Shenfang's bedroom, angered by me. Her face had turned the color of a liver. And she had locked herself in her bedroom without even coming out for dinner. Approaching her bed, the knife clinked against the cabinet, a dull sound that was clearly audible in the dead of night. Shenfang stirred and slowly woke up, our eyes meeting. The next second, her screams of terror and panic filled the air. "Mom, don't be scared, it's me, Sun Yan. What are you doing? Why are you standing by my bed with a knife?" Shenfang shrunk back into the corner of the bed, her voice shrieking. I sighed and sat down beside her bed. "Mom, is this the knife you use when you cook for me?" I waved the knife. "It's so heavy, it must be hard to use for chopping vegetables. Even though your cooking isn't great, I can't deny you put effort into it. Mom, as long as you don't affect my studies and future, you are still the mom I love the most. Alright, go to sleep, I'll watch over you." Shenfang looked on the verge of breaking down. She endured her fear and sent me back, but she didn't know. Tonight was just the beginning. The next day, when she found out I had ordered food from a restaurant downstairs to be delivered, she exploded again. In front of the delivery person, she threw the food on the floor and smashed everything on the table. I remained silent and expressionless, just coldly and disdainfully watching her. Shenfang's actions gradually lessened, and hesitation, even embarrassment, flickered across her face. With a click of my tongue, I turned and walked out. "Where are you going?" Shenfang grabbed me. I calmly met her gaze. "Mom, I have a heavy load of classes this afternoon. I need to nourish myself." Fear and fright often stem from a lack of a sense of power. As a child, I was afraid of Shenfang because I couldn't fight back against her. She could slap me across the room with ease, drag me effortlessly, pin me to the ground without me being able to struggle. Later, I grew to hate Shenfang. I hated her favoritism, mistreatment, and neglect. But I was no longer afraid of her. I could dodge her slaps, and if not, I could run. Even when I grabbed her arm, she couldn't break free anymore. My sister always had poor meals growing up, just leftovers and scraps, but she's physically stronger than me, rarely gets sick, and has more energy. I explained to Teacher Bai, who is a very gentle and attentive person. When she noticed my rapid breathing, she asked if I was feeling unwell, which led me to share these things with a bitter smile. "You wouldn't believe it, but I'm lactose intolerant. Despite that, my mom insists on the benefits of milk and forces me to drink it. To keep me slim, she never lets me eat my fill. All my meals are low in oil and salt, utterly tasteless. Whether I'm sick or not, my diet is always the same: beef, eggs, and green vegetables." I continued. "I don't engage in outdoor sports because it's considered a waste of time. My legs are practically atrophying." Teacher Bai looked at me with a face full of sympathy. "How can your mother be like that?" she questioned. "Good or not, it all depends on what's suitable. Everyone's body is different. Doesn't she understand that?" Moved, I glanced towards Teacher Bai. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the door ajar. Shenfang must have come over because my music scores were left in her bag. Sighing, I said, "Teacher Bai, I wish you were my mother. My mother should be like you, gentle, knowledgeable, and respectful of others." How can an adult who can't control her own emotions be fit to raise children and nurture the next generation? As Shenfang approached in a daze, she saw Zhou Xi pacing at the door, holding a box of pastries. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "Su Sisi no longer lives here. Stop coming around." Zhou Xi scratched his head, embarrassed. "Auntie, actually, I like Sun Yan. I made these pastries myself and wanted Sun Yan to try them." Shenfang froze, her look towards me filled with disappointment and a hint of glee. "Sun Yan, what's going on? Did he say that?" she asked. "Don't you know this is a critical time for your college entrance exams? How can you do this?" I just said, "Oh," walked past her, opened the door, and took the pastries from Zhou Xi's hands. "Thanks." Shenfang snatched the pastries and threw them on the ground. "A relationship at such a young age. Your father and I work hard to send you to school to study, not to fall in love. Sun Yan, you've really disappointed me." The word disappointed was almost hissed through clenched teeth. I raised an eyebrow. "He likes me, not the other way around. Why doesn't he like someone else? You really did nothing. If that's what you think, there's nothing I can do." I replied, "Sun Yan, what kind of attitude is that?" Amid Shenfang's roaring, I went into the kitchen, grabbed a kitchen knife, and threw it on the floor. "If you think he shouldn't like me, then go ahead and kill him." Shenfang fell silent. Zhou Xi swallowed hard, his steps barely perceptible as he moved towards the door. He came because I called him. Zhou Xi was somewhat annoying. After all these incidents, He probably realized that showing up in front of Shenfang might cause trouble for me or Sun Yan, so he became more cautious but still lingered around. I gave him a call, just like that, come whenever you want, and visit often if you like. To drive someone insane, you can't always use the same tactic. When every little thing around her could trigger her, she was on the verge of breaking down. That night, I appeared again at Shenfang's bedside, staring intently at her, this time, without making a sound. It took less than half a minute for her to jump up. I held her hand. Speaking in a haunting tone, Mom, it's just you and me left in this family. You won't leave me, right? You have to believe that no matter what happens, I love you, but it would be better if you were a bit more outstanding. My mom has to be the best one, otherwise why would she be my mom, right? Alright, I'll sleep with you, just like when I was little. I won't leave you, and you should never leave me either. But just 2 days later, after I appeared at Shenfang's bedside for 2 consecutive nights, she locked her bedroom door. No matter how much I knocked or called, she refused to open it, so I took a cleaver and chopped her door down. The sturdy wooden door was split open with a small hole right in the middle. I bent down, peered in, and saw Shenfang standing there stiffly. I started speaking cheerily, Mom, why did you lock the door? I can't get in, ah. Shenfang's continuous screaming woke up the neighbors upstairs and downstairs. Soon, people gathered around. What's going on here? Shenfang quickly opened the door and rushed out, pointing at me and shouting loudly, she's crazy, she chopped my door with a knife, she's insane, catch her. I tilted my head, my face the picture of innocence. It's because Mom locked the door, I couldn't get in, that's my room, but you broke my room's lock, and you can go in and out anytime. You love me this way, so of course I should love you the same, isn't that right? The next day, Shenfang, pale-faced and avoiding eye contact, had someone change my door lock. Sometimes when reason doesn't work, it's better not to argue. She says it doesn't hurt to be cut with a knife, so just cut her. Summer vacation ended before I knew it. Sun Yan and I hadn't met again. When school started, as if by agreement, she took my seat and I took hers. Just like before, we had no interaction. And we avoided each other when we met face to face. The only one anxious was Zhou Ci. He asked me what would happen if I couldn't keep up with my grades. I scoffed. Who decided that Sun Yan must be the top of the class? Does Sun Yan want to be the top of the class? Sun Yan didn't want to. She didn't even know what she wanted. She became more and more confused, distracted during classes, and slept on the desk after classes. I threw a book in front of her. See what you want to study. Where you want to go to school. Sun Yan stopped me. What do you want? I blurted out. To make money, a lot of money. I was already urging Shenfang to ask Su Guiyong for money. Shenfang was a very stubborn person. It was only after becoming Sun Yan that I realized Su Guiyong sent just 2,000 yuan a month for household expenses. Su's wife managed this sum with extreme frugality, always telling Su Guiyong over the phone that she didn't spend a cent on herself, a fact she took pride in. The only time she felt justified in asking for more money was if it was needed for their child, claiming it wasn't for her own use. Twisted, stubborn, and needlessly martyring herself. Is she a pitiful person? Yes, but is that her own issue to deal with? What does it have to do with Su Cici and Sun Yan? Shenfang visibly aged, growing increasingly insecure. Any resistance from her was swiftly crushed by me. How do you crush someone? Simply step out of their logic, disregard their emotions. And it becomes quite easy, like when I ask Su Guiyong for money. Why should I need a reason? Whether he gives willingly or not doesn't matter. If you don't give, I'll make a scene. You lose money, you avoid disaster. Over the past 6 months, the whole house was chaotic, yet nobody talked about Su Cici. Just like when she was 10, she deliberately failed her exams, and nobody cared. Sun Yan got new shoes, she didn't. The balcony light was dim, and no one changed it for her. They forgot to give her living expenses one day, and she went hungry, hiding under the stairwell at home. She wondered, if she disappeared, would her parents worry desperately? Would they frantically search for her, then hold her and admit their wrongdoing? Su Cici waited from evening until sunset. As it got darker and people became scarce, no hurried footsteps, no cries or shouts, Su Cici got scared. She locked herself in the darkness, holding back tears until she couldn't anymore and ran home crying. Shenfang mocked her with a sneer. You have the nerve to run away from home. Don't come back if you're so capable, expecting me to look for you. No way. Su Guiyong sighed, helplessly stroking Su Cici's hair, his expression gentle, his tone soft. Don't do this again, Dad will worry. Be good. At that moment, Su Cici shivered with a chill. Zhou Ci also asked me, can they really not tell you and Sun Yan apart? No, they just don't care. They don't care who is Sun Yan or Su Sisi. They only want the child who is the best. Now, under my torment, they don't even care whether Sun Yan excels or not. After all, when Shen Feng questioned me about my dropping grades, I nonchalantly blamed her. Because of you. You can't provide a good environment. I'm worn out. They say parents are the first teachers, but if you can't even manage your own figure or emotions, how can I improve? If I had a better mom, I'd definitely be more impressive now. Mom, you neither earn money nor take care of the home well. What's the point of your existence? Shen Feng is breaking down every day. Occasionally she looks at me with suspicion, but as soon as I start playing the piano, she dismisses all doubts. The current Sun Yan might not be good. But Su Sisi is even worse. She definitely doesn't play the piano. Shen Feng can't even tell that I play the same piece every time, just like she doesn't realize that no matter how useless I am, I have always been in the top 10 of my grade. The only thing that worried me was when Shen Feng took me to a psychologist. She complained that I was disobedient, my grades were slipping, and I was rebellious. The diagnosis given was moderate depression and moderate anxiety. I was skeptical and thought the doctor was incompetent. But later, I let it go. Sun Yan is sick. Who says Su Sisi has to be normal? I had a great time tormenting Shen Feng. How could I forget about Su Guiyong? I remember taking photos of several pollution outlets at his factory, and the unclear relationship between him and his married accountant. Important photos must be sent to the right people, for business matters. I approached his competitors, for personal matters. I approached the accountant's husband. Zhou Xi also helped me deliver those photos. His gaze was complex. There are some things he will never understand. Empathy is an impossible feat. Soon, Su Guiyong was in deep trouble. A moment of rage leads to bloodshed. The accountant's husband held a knife to Su Guiyong's neck, and though he didn't cut, it scared Su Guiyong severely. He didn't dare to pursue the matter, as he would lose face completely. Then came the audits from various departments. He was given deadlines for rectification. Su Guiyong didn't take it seriously. He thought he could bribe his way out with meals and money. 3 months later, his factory was sealed. Helpless, Su Guiyong returned home in disgrace. At that moment, the real dispute between the two began. In less than a week, the previously happy Shen Feng couldn't stand Su Guiyong anymore. Staying up late, either going out to play cards, drinking with friends, or just watching TV at home, not doing any housework. Leaving dirty clothes and socks everywhere, and constantly complaining about Shen Feng. They had the most intense argument ever. For the first time, Shen Feng told Su Guiyong to get out. I watched with great amusement. It was just too noisy, so, humming a tune, I went back to my room. Sun Yan had chosen her major. She wanted to study biological sciences at a university in Anhui. As for me, I followed the path of my previous life and chose my alma mater. Zhou Xi, however, became more and more silent. Silently watching me, silently following me. What exactly do you want, Su Sisi? Do you like me? Does it matter? Doesn't it matter? I took a deep breath. Zhou Xi, if you had a do-over just to figure out who I like and who you like, then that's pretty lame. Time swiftly moved forward, rolling us along as we raced ahead. Shen Feng and Su Guiyong started discussing divorce. She tried many times to seek comfort from me, but I coldly turned her away. She broke down crying, and I just silently watched her, like watching a hysterical lunatic. Gradually, it seemed that Shen Feng began to fear me. I was thriving, and she was aging day by day. How could she not be afraid? But she can rest assured, I will eventually treat her the way she treated me. Finally, the college entrance exams arrived as scheduled. Sun Yan had already packed her bags and bought her ticket for that night. She was eager to leave, to go somewhere completely new. I looked at her indifferently and softly said, Su Sisi must live well in some corner of this world until a ripe old age. Sun Yan hurriedly lowered her head. She approached and hugged me. Su Sisi, I really hate you, she said, but what can I do? You're the one I love the most. That night, Zhou Xi stopped me as well. He grinned nonchalantly. Aren't you trying to provoke your parents? I can help you with that, free of charge. I rolled my eyes. Idiot, as I turned away. Zhou Xi's voice grew softer. Su Sisi, we shouldn't have come to this point. For all these years, I've been wondering if I really like you. I don't know, but I do know that I'm not willing to leave you. That day, you said being with me was just about winning, just to get one over on Sun Yan, and not about real feelings. I was hurt, so I blurted out those words. Su Sisi, I like you. I slightly lifted my gaze, my heart filled with mixed emotions. It's hard to say I was sad, but I felt somewhat stifled. Zhou Xi was talking about the day he discovered Sun Yan's portrait. He said it was just youthful melancholy and told me not to make a fuss. He said Sun Yan was someone who had already left, and I should just let it be. But how could I endure knowing that years of feelings were just a deception? So, I scoffed sarcastically, well, we really are a pair, you using me as a substitute for Sun Yan, and me using you as a tool to get one over on Sun Yan, perfect. No one owes anyone anything. Zhou Ci's eyes widened. What did you say? I said I never liked you. I just wanted to beat Sun Yan for once. At that moment, Zhou Ci's eyes were stormy. Ha, that saves me from feeling indebted to you. Su Cici, you really can't compare to Sun Yan at all. I regret using you as a substitute. The harsh words of the past still echoed in my ears, but now everything had changed. In the end, I said nothing more and slowly walked into the shadows. Side story, Sun Yan. Sun Yan once again woke up from a nightmare, sitting up abruptly, gasping for breath. It was her 8th year since she had left, and she still couldn't sleep peacefully. She was trying hard to live her life, making friends, seeing the world, conducting experiments, doing research. Things seemed to be getting better. But only Sun Yan knew that sometimes, in the dead of night, she felt a desperate urge to jump out of the window, but she couldn't. She was now Su Cici. Su Cici had to die a natural death. Sun Yan had always hated Su Cici. She was like a cockroach that couldn't be killed. No matter how Shen Fang treated her, she would be upset for a night, but by the next day, her eyes would be bright again. How could she be so carefree and free-spirited? She did whatever she wanted, went wherever she wanted. But Sun Yan couldn't. She was trapped in endless classes, endless problems to solve. She had to strive to be Shen Fang's best child. Su Cici had 2 healthy legs. She could run to any corner of the world. But Sun Yan's wings were clipped, her limbs broken. She couldn't go anywhere. This led Sun Yan to despair countless times. She wished Su Cici could see her, save her. Sun Yan never thought that what destroys a person could be love. Maybe she was just not as strong or capable as Su Cici. Sun Yan thought, this is it, this is her life. But then, Su Cici gave her a choice to become Su Cici. Sun Yan was tempted. This was her 8th year as Su Cici. One day, a friend sent her a photo in surprise. Look, doesn't this look like you? I was shocked. Are you sure you don't have a twin sister or something? Sun Yan stared at the photo, zooming in further and further. It was a cold-looking girl in professional attire, wearing gold-rimmed glasses. Her whole demeanor warding off strangers. It was the real Su Cici. Sun Yan had inquired about Su Cici countless times. She knew Su Cici had gotten into her dream university, but that was not what Shen Fang wanted. What would she do to Su Cici? Sun Yan tossed and turned, bought a ticket and rushed back home, hiding for half a month, until Su Cici told her to get lost. It's none of your business, she's no match for me. You let her walk all over you, Sun Yan thought. She really was useless. Why was it that the problem that nearly drove her to her wit's end had no effect on Su Cici? Sun Yan had always known Su Cici was exceptional. She had to work tirelessly just to maintain her position as the top student in her grade, yet, Su Cici easily broke into the top 10. The musical scores she had to practice over and over, Su Cici could master in one go. Sun Yan was terrified. If there had to be a failure in the family, she wished it were Su Cici, but it seemed. From the beginning to the end, she was the failure. Somehow, that felt okay. Suddenly, Sun Yan terribly missed Su Cici. She grabbed a portrait and smashed it against his face. The phone was quickly answered. Who is this? Sun Yan gripped her phone so tightly that her whole hand trembled. She couldn't utter a word. Her breathing just became more rapid. After a long while, Su Cici spoke. I'm busy. If you're not afraid anymore, come back. With a swish, Sun Yan's tears flowed down. She responded with a her tone filled with relief. She thought she was going home.